This is KTFM Floresville, San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Ohio State Buckeyes are your national champion. First title for them since 2014. They beat Notre Dame last night. Ohio State ends the year as the unanimous number one in the AP poll, followed by Notre Dame, Oregon, Texas at 4, and Penn State at 5. Texas, Ohio State are the betting favorites for next year's title. Spurs are in Paris. We got some good news. R.C. Buford told a French reporter Pop is expected to return this season at some point.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix on this Blizzard Tuesday.
Blizzard Tuesday, huh?
I mean, Snowmageddon. I mean, we were all expecting all this, stuff. And we took full advantage of the bosses saying, all right, man, you guys plan to work from home. And here we are. Reinagel's at his place. I'm at mine. Pledge, he survived the wet conditions into the studio. No problems whatsoever. It's always better to be safe than sorry. I mean, it was fun looking out the front window today and seeing all the neighbor kids playing in the snow, doing what they could to build the world's smallest snowman earlier today.
I saw a bunch of like snow angels, pictures of that, people doing snow angels and stuff. And, you got to enjoy the snow. We get it so very unfrequently around here. You got to enjoy it. And I don't mind what happened today. All right, that's fine. I just don't ever want to see what happened. What was it, 2 years ago, 3, 4 years, whatever it was. Yeah. I don't ever want to see that in San Antonio ever again.
Although I will say I had an oblique moment about 9 o'clock today. My power went out.
No.
For about 30 seconds.
What? Wow.
Yep. And I did not lose power during all that other. So I don't know what caused the power outage today, but I've had to reset the clocks, and then you wait for the TV and your internet, and I'm thinking, uh-oh. But as soon as it went out, I was thinking, uh-oh. Because but it came right back on. But just that little bit of a power outage scared the crap out of me for about this long.
Well, maybe you ought to pay your bill, Minix. Maybe that would help, and your power wouldn't go out.
It came back on. It was just a blip, but then you've got to go reset everything, and but in this weather, in this kind of weather, knowing what's happened before, as soon as that happened, panic sets in. And again, during the whole crap last time, I wasn't even in town. I was stuck on a beach in Florida. I couldn't get home. But at the same time, my house never lost power. And so, Pledge was over at the house last night. And, I even told him, if we lose power, man, if you can make it over here, crash here. Because Pledge went like 5 days without power last time. But he couldn't get out of his apartment complex with all the ice on the road.
Oh, so he stayed at your house last night. He stayed at your house last night, huh?
No,
I didn't get an invite over there. Did you barbecue or what?
He went home. There was food involved. So, of course, Pledge, stopped by just to make sure everything was good. In fact, you know what I did last night? And I've never done this before. Got to figure out if I'm going to do this again. But I made a rack of ribs on Sunday. And, I had a lot of leftovers. So, on the new Blackstone, I made rib fried rice last night, which is a very different flavor. I thought it would taste like pork fried rice, but because it's barbecue ribs in there with all that, it was very, very good, different. But I think I'll have to try that again, but maybe use Japanese barbecue sauce instead of soy sauce would probably be what I would try next.
Well, since I didn't have any, I wouldn't know. I can't give you any advice because I wasn't invited over. Glad Pledge was. I wasn't.
Neither was Pledge. He just shows up. He knows there's leftovers.
He said there were a lot of ribs, and I was there to take some of them off his hands.
I got you doing your civic duty. I got it, Pledge. I understand.
Yes.
No, that's cool. And the Blackstone is something I'm politicking for around here because I'd like to get one of those as well. Those are pretty cool. But did it taste good though?
Yeah,
I liked it.
All right. Well, that's all that mattered. Didn't matter if what you were expecting one taste and it turned into some other taste.
It's exactly. It did not taste the way I thought it was going to taste when I thought about doing it this way, but I'm not complaining by any stretch. It was good, but again, different than what I was expecting. And so, leftover ribs, fried rice. You can go with that because a lot of times I'll take leftover meat and make that into a breakfast taco the next morning. Now it doesn't matter what it is that was on the grill. You mix it with eggs and cheese and a tortilla, and it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, that's always good. That's never an issue. I like leftover tacos like that. When you make meat, whatever, a brisket, you make tacos out of that or a tri-tip or whatever it is. And with you ribs, never have done that, but it sounds delicious.
Well, and again, you just go that route. Now, it's kind of weird because I did not plan properly. I don't know if you did, but I'm at home right now. Now, granted, it's too cold to go sit outside and grill for very long, although Joanna did have me outside last night making fried rice on the Blackstone because that was part of the plan. So I did that. But it's weird. I'm doing my show from the house and I've got nothing on the smoker right now. It's a total miss by me that I did not plan to have something that I could have been smoking all day and ready for when I get off work and have that long walk from the kitchen to the recliner.
You really should have. I'm disappointed, and Joanna's probably counting on that. And now she's going to come home and be all disappointed, which, I'm sure that happens to her quite a bit. But I'm just saying,
well, sure.
You put some nice food on the smoker and have it ready for her when she gets home. That's fantastic because unlike you, she actually got up and went to work today.
She did. Well, she's a nurse. The hospitals don't close by any stretch. So, yeah, she went to work today. It took her about an hour to get there, but she made it in, and she'll make it home. But it's Taco Tuesday. It's her night to cook.
Oh, okay. I got you. All right, then. That's fine. You're going to make her cook. You just have to walk from your table to the kitchen and start something, but yet you're going to go sit down and make her cook after she's been working all day. Dude, I tell you what, that woman is a saint.
She is.
Yes.
She is. And bust them all you want, Mr. Reinagel, who right before the show eating a sandwich that your wife made for you before the show. And my guess is you're not going to cook anything after the show. She'll have dinner prepared for you as you have the long walk from her home office. I could tell by the room you're in her office. So yes. You displaced your wife to be able to work from home today.
I did, although she said it wasn't a problem. She said it was okay. I even had Greg Shelton give me a really long cord for the internet, and now I don't need it. Don't tell him, all right? Because I specifically requested that, thinking I was going to have to string this thing out of the office and all the way in there to the kitchen. Didn't have to do that. So don't tell Shelton that he went to all that extra work, and I didn't use it.
Greg Shelton is the hero of the day. I know A.J. Hoffman is trying to take that title, but A.J. Hoffman gets the dumbass award of the day. Greg Shelton is the hero of the day because he made sure everybody could do their shows from home. And if Greg Shelton went to all the work to send us all with equipment in different cases, and it was a lot of work for him, because he had to stop playing solitaire for about 8 minutes to get all that done for Rob, for AJ, for you, for me, for Trey Ware and Sean Rima and Jack Riccardi on KT. Greg went to a lot of work by his standards. And I'm guessing, and because when I tuned in, I don't know, Hoffman kept calling himself the hero of the day because he made it into work and was giving Rob crap. AJ, you're the dumbass, dude. Now either A, he couldn't figure out the equipment at his apartment and had no choice but to come to work, or B, he wants to be that guy that shows up for work to try to make everybody else look bad.
I'm going with A. He couldn't figure out the equipment, and so he figured he'd just get in the car and drive there. Look, I think I heard AJ say he's got a friend of his in town from Houston. He probably didn't wake the guy up, and certainly didn't want the guy getting off the couch and rolling into his bed so he could do a broadcast. That's what it is. That's what it is. So AJ's got company, and so that he probably had to. That dude said, "Hey, you're not doing a show here. Get the hell out of here and go to work." Either way, he gets the dumbass award of the day. I agree. AJ Hoffman, Greg Shelton, the hero of the day. And again, he went through the effort so we could do this. We're doing it. We're working from home today. Well, exactly. Minix, you said something. It happens so very rarely, but you said something wise earlier about, better safe than sorry. And I totally agree with that. So, it is, I'm looking out the window here to my right, and it's a beautiful day, blue skies. It is still very cold outside, but you just never know where you hit the slick spot that sends your car spinning all over the place. And so better safe than sorry. Well, and that's, when you look at it, you go there, better say. And again, when we get off work, it would be dark. You don't know what's going to happen. The ice, what little snow there is. I still have some snow in areas where it's shaded. Although I never really got any snow on the grass. Like, it's in the flower beds, but in some lawn chairs. The Blizzard 2025 photos are incredible. In fact, you should send us. You're sending them everywhere else. Send your Blizzard photos to @JoeReinagle210. @Jason Minix, @SA Sports Star, because San Antonio, we kind of missed. Our friends in Houston, lots of snow down in Houston, even in right off the Gulf of America now. It's been that for 24 hours. We already have snow in Galveston, which is kind of stunning to see that. I saw there was snow in Louisiana. Down in New Orleans, where we're going to be in a couple of weeks. So, anything to help clean the streets of Bourbon is always good. So, send your Blizzard photos. It's crazy. Yeah, I'd like to see it. It was kind of cool seeing it when I got up this morning. There snow on the rooftops and in my flower beds and that. So that was kind of cool. And my daughter sent some pictures of the grandson and granddaughter out there playing in the snow. So they had a good time. So that's good. And but that's it. That's all I want. I can deal with the cold weather as long as it's sunny outside like it is today. I don't want any snow. Don't want it. I don't want cold. There's a reason we live here. We get this for a day. It'll be spring again by the weekend. That is why we live here. My friends in Kansas City, they sent me a picture today after I posted my Blizzard shot that their snow that's been there for 2 weeks. And it's -4 in Kansas City. I couldn't deal with that. Not at all. There's no way, dude. We live here for a reason. All right. Yes. The weather is outstanding. It's a little hot, but I don't mind the heat. But hey, I still want snow. I can handle a little short, cold snap, but that's about it. You just said something. For all those people that bitch in the summertime that they want it like this, I hope they're walking around today in shorts and a T-shirt. I hope so, too. Because I would much rather have summer. Dude, they're all bundled up. They got the knit hat on. They got the scarf around the neck. They got gloves on and all that stuff. I guarantee you that's the case. I'd much rather it be 100 degrees than have to deal with snow ever again. Ever. Ohio State is the national champion. We'll get into that, but we got some interesting Spurs news from France. We'll dive into that coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
South Texas, get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. The one and only Rich Eisen is on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. With over 20 years of NFL experience, Rich Eisen brings breaking stories, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews with sports legends to your airwaves with unmatched wit, insight, and passion. Catch all the action every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show, only on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hear that? The soothing sounds of a bubble bath. And if you were here, you'd smell a single cedar leaf candle. But you're not here. Because Because your self-care happens out on the road, riding your motorcycle protected by Progressive. So if you ride, get back on the road and enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance from Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer. And then take a shower, because it's fast, like your motorcycle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Roadside assistance may require comprehensive coverage, not available in all states.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. Every day, ZipRecruiter helps people who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where Groundworks comes in. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-505-9603, 800-505-9603, 800-505-9603.
30 for 30 presents the New York Sack Exchange.
Flacco, Lion, Salam, Gastineau.
If you hit a quarterback and if they got up, you didn't do your job.
They were a brotherhood.
There is no magic formula for controlling the New York Sack Exchange.
But brothers don't always play nice.
Flacco could not stand me.
I should have been waiting all day for you.
We'll get down on the stairs.
I don't know what you were doing.
I'm still trying to forgive and forget.
Stream the New York Sack Exchange, now on ESPN+.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/credit.
George gets justice.
At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, we are the ones you can trust. With over 100 years of combined experience, we are committed to helping people in our local community. Get George Salinas Injury Lawyers and put our experience to work for you and your case. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com.
George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature-Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature-Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Along with Joe Reinagel, I'm Jason Minix. Working from home today on this Blizzard Tuesday. The blizzard-like conditions.
That Arctic air is entrenched here.
It will be for about another 8 minutes. So, we all decided that we were going to stay home today. I mean, James Pledger, he looks like he is ready to be out in the Arctic blast. Is that Super Bowl hat thing we got you in Minnesota?
It is.
All right. I'm glad you finally found a day to use it.
They're few and far between here.
Wow, I'm trying to. That's like one of those old, like a pilot hat or something, right? Where you
Pledge
with
do
the
me
ear
a favor.
flaps.
Well, I mean, ear flaps. There's all kinds of things on the video. I don't know how you do it, but make yourself where the people at home that are watching on the YouTube channel are able to see the hat. It's a multifunctional hat. You could put your ears up. You could put your ears down. When you're racing in the Iditarod, you've got something that you could do that. And it was one of those deals. Rob Thompson and I were, in Minnesota, like, all right, well, what are we getting Pledge? And you see something like that, and you think, who the hell would ever wear this? And you go, well, James Pledger. And there were a lot of them. I'm trying to remember if they were on sale, if we got it at the airport, whatever it was, but it had Pledger written all over it, and it works out pretty good.
I hope he appreciates that, because I bet it wasn't cheap. Super Bowl merchandise is, it's like 3 times the price you would pay anywhere else. So Pledge, I hope you appreciate that.
I do. It's very cozy.
We're just way too good to Pledge and Edwin and Vic and all of them. I mean, we got them all nice sweaters for Christmas, and we're just too good to these guys, Minix.
We are. We take care of we take care of our people. I mean, Pledge during Super Bowl week works his ass off, and so you get him a silly hat. And the only thing that, if I remember correctly, we gift him that hat, and his first question was, "This free swag that you wanted nothing to do with?" And the answer was no. I mean, that was actually bought at the overpriced gift store. I mean, because sometimes there's free stuff, and you go, "What the hell am I going to do with that?" And then you give it to Pledge because, he'll do something with it. That was actually a very expensive purchase. But see, Pledge is hard to shop for because he doesn't like golf shirts. He doesn't like necessarily T-shirts. He's like having, you have 5 daughters. I have 1. And girls get to a certain age where no matter what, if you buy the shirt, they're not going to like it, right? Now, they can pick out the same shirt, and if they picked it out, they're going to like it, and you can pay for it. But if you pick it out, there's going to be something wrong with that. That is James Pledger. If you try to buy him some apparel, he's like a teenage girl in that regard. It's not going to be something that he would have chosen for himself.
Well, I totally agree with that, because the stuff you pick out for Pledge is not the stuff he picks out, because he picks out some of the wildest stuff sometimes. Right? I mean, he goes to the Wild store and just mixes and matches and stuff. But you're absolutely right. I try to buy Maggie stuff from the Super Bowl or Cowboys camp, and it's like, no, she never wears it.
The Wild store, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's right up there on San Pedro.
Thought you were going to say Eisenhower Austin Highway.
Highway.
Look, Pledge pays a lot of money to have holes in his jeans where, you and I are old school. We had to earn the holes in our jeans.
No kidding. And I've told you that story. That started to come into fashion, if you will, when my kids were in high school, and I refused to buy jeans with holes in them. I refused to do it. I said, I'm not spending $100 on a pair of jeans with holes in it. But Dad, that's the style. I don't give a damn. I'll buy you a $30 Costco brand. You cut the holes in them in if you want.
There you go. Enough of Pledge's fashion talk.
Yes.
Although, the comments on YouTube, Pledge, you do look warm and cozy, although you do realize you're inside. If you were working outside, I don't know, school crossing guard, although no school bus is running today, it would be perfect for that.
Yeah, but last time it snowed, we lost power here too.
Yeah.
At the radio station, really? See, I wasn't with this great group of radio stations at that time. I'm hoping we never have to have that happen again. Honestly, I would never have it again. I don't want it again, and I don't wish that on anybody ever again. Even when I'm long gone, I hope it never happens to you that are still here. That was miserable, and I don't ever want to do it again.
Ever again. The San Antonio Spurs over in Paris in all kinds of events. I saw Wemby earlier today dedicating a couple of basketball courts in his hometown, all kinds of different things going on. And R.C. Buford talking to French media, I assume. I mean, there might be some American media there. I see Windhorst is there. But he did give a very positive update on Gregg Popovich. And we have not had an update on Pop in weeks. The last update given from the Spurs was actually a statement from Pop that basically thanked everybody for the well wishes and that sort of thing, but no real update on how he is doing. According to R.C. Buford from French media, the quote, "He's been improving weekly. We don't know when he will be back, but he will be at some point." R.C. Buford did confirm that Pop is expected to return to coaching this team. Now, I don't know, but based on that, if that's this basketball season or maybe next season, but all indications are Gregg Popovich will at some point be back on the bench coaching the San Antonio Spurs.
And look, that is really good news. You talk about a tough old guy, Gregg Popovich, to survive what he went through and then to make it back. That's going to be something else. Or maybe he's looking at this basketball team going, man, they need me. I got to get the hell out there quick because they need some help. Haven't been playing well. Still, though, it's very good news. And when I saw that, I was just I'm thrilled. Wish Pop the best and hope he gets back out there if that's what he wants to do and he wants to continue to coach. Then, hey, I'm all for him. I'm rooting for him. Get back out there, Pop.
Well, and that's it. And you said the key words, if that is what he wants to do. And, sometimes an experience like what he's gone through, if he were to say, you know what, I need to go enjoy my life, nobody would be mad at him. At some point, he will not be the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. But knowing Gregg Popovich the way we do, he wants to do it on his terms. That would be my guess, although you never know. But also, the idea of getting back on the bench might be his biggest motivation in going through the rehab process, where going back to his statement, his doc was paraphrasing, his doctors will tell you he's not the most coachable. But if that's what is motivating him to go through the rehab that he is going through, and we have no idea at what level anybody that's ever had any experience with stroke victims. I mean, it could be severe. It could be, fairly minor in having to relearn some different things depending on the part of the brain that was affected. But what a positive statement today from R.C. Buford.
It's a great statement, and I'm glad that he said that to kind of give us all an update. And again, I think everybody in San Antonio, no matter your feelings for Gregg Popovich or not, everybody's rooting for him, and they want him to get back, and he deserves to get back and to go out on his own terms. And I think that was a good way to put that. I'm just glad that he's better. Because as serious as that was, you never knew. There was a point in time where you didn't know. And so the fact that we know, the fact that he's going to be back, the fact that soon, it sounds like, I mean, if you're R.C. Buford, it sounds like he thinks he's going to be back and not the most distant future in the world. He's going to be back sooner rather than later.
And again, kind of, there's a lot of ways R.C. could have answered that question. While there's still no real timetable, I mean, because you hear that, I don't know if that means this year or maybe next year. We have no idea based on that timetable. But R.C. could have said, he's going through rehab. We'll cross that bridge when it's time. I mean, there's all kinds of ways that R.C. could have answered that one. So that tells me, knowing how deliberate and guarded the Spurs are with information, that he is getting better and there is a plan for him to return, which again, glad they're getting that message out overseas, because here we get no updates.
We don't. And hey, that's been typical Spurs for a long time. They seem to give more info to the out-of-town media, and in this case, the out-of-the-country media, than they do to the local media. It's just been their MO for a long, long time, and it's just going to continue that way. So hope the Spurs are having a good time in Paris. They deserve that. I hope they start playing some better basketball over there in Paris. But, man, they need to. And if it's interesting. We're talking about Pop and his health. How much is he coaching Mitch Johnson? Do you think he's in his ear constantly? Does Mitch reach out to Pop and say, hey, Pop, this isn't working. What do I do here? And how do I handle this? I would hope he's doing that. There's no shame in doing that. And so I hope that he is. But right now, I think this Spurs team could use a little Pop advice.
Well, they certainly could. And this stretch that the Spurs are going through right now, where they're just not playing good basketball, is the first time since Mitch has become the interim coach that you kind of wonder if he's in over his head. Early on and for him to be in this position completely unexpected because of the reasons that obviously he's the interim coach right now. I don't know. There's something going on with this basketball team where they're not closing games out. They're blowing double-digit leads. They're getting blown out. They're having awful quarters. I don't know if it's coaching, execution, accountability, a combination of both. This trip that they're on right now, time will tell if this is good or bad for them. Part of me thinks this is awful for them because, I can't imagine them getting a lot of practice time in, especially Wemby, to go play those games over there and then to come back, and then you're going to have the rodeo road trip. It just the timing of it. There's nothing you can do about it. They're playing their worst basketball of the season right now. And here's this trip to France. Maybe they're able to gel over there and come back and hit the ground running and make a serious playoff push. But they need some sort of quick spark and turnaround.
Yeah, it's not working right now. Whatever's happening, they're just they're not playing four quarters. You'll get a quarter or two out of them, and then just two terrible quarters out of them. And that's been the MO here over the last couple of weeks. And you're absolutely right. Look, Wemby is going to be running crazy in his time in Paris. Dedicating basketball courts and events over here. And I'm sure the amount of time that he's going to spend doing other things is going to be enormous. So you can only imagine that once it's time to play basketball, what's he going to have left in the tank? That's going to be tough. Not to mention the fact they're playing an Indiana Pacers team that is not bad. They've been playing some decent basketball, and so it's not going to be easy. It's not like they're playing Portland or somebody like that. They're playing a decent basketball team. So, but they got to turn this thing around, turn it around quick. Jason, in all honesty, and I believe they'll hit 22 wins. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying this kind of tongue-in-cheek, but they haven't gotten to that 22-win total yet. I know there's a lot of basketball left to be played, but I was kind of hoping they'd be over that mark by now.
Well, all right. So it's January 21st. I know what you're saying, and I get it. That they will get to 22. Now they've got 22 losses, but they only have 19 wins. So I'm pretty comfortable. If you want a beer bet that they will get over 22 wins this season, I'll definitely make that beer bet with you now.
That's nice of you, Jason. That's just really nice of you.
I'm trying to read the room. Is that what are you questioning whether or not they get the 22 wins? That might be an easier beer bet than the Dalvin Cook one.
Well, it would be, and I'm not going to give you beer like that. We can, if you want to work on a number that's more manageable, then we can talk an over and under beer bet. But 22, I feel pretty safe. And if they don't, or they just get to 22, for goodness sake. Then, the bags will come out.
There's way too many games left for them not to trip into more wins.
Goodness gracious.
And again, I think about all the double-digit leads they have blown. They should already be at about 24, 25 wins.
Yes.
Realistically.
Yes,
Realistically.
they should be. Yeah.
They're in a rut right now. Can they fix it in France? Time will tell. They play Thursday afternoon, which will be fun because we'll actually get to do a bit of a post-game show, which is rare for us.
It is rare. They also play, I think, early Saturday. It's an early tip, at least our time, but because of the time change. So both of those games are during the day. So it's going to be interesting to see. And the one good thing for the Spurs, they will have the home court edge. I feel pretty certain about that with Wemby there and folks that are ready to see him play. So they got that going for them.
Home court in France. It is the Blitz here on 94.1. San Antonio Sports Star. The Cowboys still searching for a new head coach. How serious is this Schottenheimer story? We'll get into that coming up here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
We've given Edwin and Vic the day off for Martin Luther King Day. I didn't realize. No, this is it's like corporate mandated.
It's kind of like
only whites working
today.
It's kind
of like being Jewish on Christmas Day.
It sucks.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Welcome to Staples.
I am so pumped. My business is going to kill it this year.
Awesome. How can I help?
First, a new computer.
With Staples Home and Office Hot Deals, you save big on tech.
And new posters.
Save on custom printing, too.
And,
a new chair?
A chair. Who has time to sit?
Maybe all your new clients?
Now you're talking.
With Staples Home and Office Hot Deals, you'll find huge savings on custom prints, storage, chairs, and tech. And now save up to $175 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends 2/1.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Take the guesswork out of buying and selling your home with Orchard. Hi, Jason Minix here from 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Will your home sell in time? Which upgrades are worth it? Can you keep your home show ready with a busy life? Orchard has all the answers. With Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program, you can buy your new home before selling your old one. It's simple. Orchard gives you an equity advance, unlocking cash to buy your new home first. That's right. You don't have to wait for your old place to sell. You can move in right away. And no more rushing out for showings or constant cleaning because Orchard sells your old home after you've settled into your new home. Orchard even handles repairs and improvements at no out-of-pocket cost to you. Their local pros know which upgrades bring you the most money, so you sell for top dollar. Buy before you sell and skip the selling hassles with Orchard. Start your free home valuation at orchard.com. That's orchard.com.
Joel, I've invented the perfect exercise machine. It's practical, efficient, and fits in any home. I give you the Row and Go. Ta-da! It's a rowing machine that connects to your toilet, so you can row and...
Stop. Folks, at Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC will help homes stay in tip-top shape. Call Quarter Moon 651-5899.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC, 210-651-5899.
License number M16004, TACLA 141074E.
Make it your New Year's resolution to drink better beer. That's what I'm talking about. Who needs dry January? Let's go all in with Karbach, baby. Karbach Brewing out of Houston, but they love San Antonio, and their beer is all over the city. Their head brewer came here and said, we want San Antonio to be a priority market for us, so they have put their beer all over our fair town. From Hopadillo, their in-your-face hopped IPA, to Love Street, which is their blonde Kolsch-style beer, and it's their best seller, by the way. On top of that, the Crawford Bock, which is one of my personal favorites. There's something for everyone in Carbach's lineup. So go to the grocery stores, go to the liquor stores, they're going to have it. And you might be surprised, all the bars and restaurants that you might think not have it probably do have some Carbach behind the bar. So whenever you're out watching football, watching playoff football, ask the bartender, please make it a Carbach.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back. I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
I'm Nicole Chrysler, healthcare provider at Revive Men's Health. If you are always feeling tired or moody, have a difficult time sleeping, or decreased libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health San Antonio at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1, a San Antonio Sports Star. Maybe you're watching on YouTube. Appreciate you guys tuning in, no matter how you're doing it. If you're on YouTube, you can comment there. Make sure you subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. If you're working from home as well on this blizzard, a snow day, feeling silly like we actually stayed home for this, huh? Better safe than sorry.
We did, but stuff like this, like all the schools closed today, right? And so you have to plan ahead. And that's the thing. That's what we did. We were smart about it. We planned ahead. Now, it didn't turn out as bad as everybody thought, but that's not our fault. We were prepared for the worst, hoping for the best, and there you go. So we're being rewarded.
Rewarded?
Rewarded. Not having to take that long drive into the radio station, right here in the comforts of home. I got, I can get up and get a sandwich. I can, just kind of mess around. I know exactly where the restrooms are there, and one's real close. So, I mean, everything, it's the comfort of home, and it's perfect. Great way to do a broadcast on a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, what you're saying is you're doing your show in your underwear, aren't you?
Well, maybe. Mm-hmm. And I'll stand up here in a minute if you'd like, and everybody can check that out.
Nope. Stay seated, my friend. Stay seated.
Let me just, seated. Yeah. Okay. All right.
But yeah, no. I, although I don't know that I would say we're being rewarded. I mean, we sacrificed. Let's do the show from home. Be safe. One less car on the road. They tell us stay off the roads if you don't have to. We've got the ability to work from home, which, quite honestly, it's the only thing about COVID that I think was good, is we all realized we can all do this from home. There are times I miss doing the show at home. Some days it's just more convenient. Some days I just wish I had, something on the smoker right now. Although I didn't today because we didn't have enough notice for this. But, we should incorporate in the off season, work from home Friday and do a grilling contest or something. That'd be awesome.
Now, see, well, we should do that anyway. We should make that a plan this summer at some point in time. Just have a little cook-off, little something like that going on, and just make a summertime party out of it on a Friday afternoon. I think that's a great idea, Jim. Perfect.
It was, except Pledge didn't push the button.
Well, that's okay.
It's not a great idea that I think is going to end up happening because it makes the least amount of sense. So it's the perfect thing for the Dallas Cowboys. Brian Schottenheimer is going to end up being the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And honestly, I mean, my first thought is, okay, he interviewed with so many other places. Oh, wait, no, he didn't interview with anybody else for their open head coaching job, right?
No.
But Brian Schottenheimer is going to end up getting the job. And for the life of me, I saw a tweet earlier, well respected in the building. Okay. But I don't know what he did in Dallas. I don't. You don't. He didn't call plays. He's been on the staff for a while. Apparently has a great relationship with Dak Prescott, which Dak seems to like everybody. I saw Babe Laufenberg stop with the narrative that the new coach has to get along with Dak. And I agree with that. I don't care if Dak likes you or not. Can you get the most out of Dak Prescott? But are you going to get the most out of Dak Prescott and be the head coach for the entire football team because you're the head coach? This Schottenheimer idea of all the different candidates was the one that I thought was least likely to happen about a week ago. And now it looks like he's going to end up being the guy.
You know, Jason, this is of all the harebrained things that we've come out with and some of the more exciting things. Obviously, I was all in on Deion Sanders. That's obviously not going to happen. And, Jason Witten, that's who apparently Jerry wants down the road somewhere, but he needs some training. So Jerry's hoping to get somebody in here that will allow Jason Witten to be on the staff. But Brian Schottenheimer, I'll be honest with you, I don't know anything about Brian Schottenheimer, but just knowing that if it comes down to him and little Kellen Moore, I would much rather have Kellen Moore because at least he's a proven play caller. He knows the system. He knows Dak Prescott, and Schottenheimer does too. But I just think Moore's just got a little bit more success than Schottenheimer because from what I've read, Schottenheimer really hasn't been successful anywhere he's been.
Well, I mean, I know you don't like Kellen Moore because he looks like he's 10. Schottenheimer is 51 years old, and he's coached for a long time. He's been a quarterbacks coach, an offensive coordinator. But I'm going through. All right, so he was the offensive coordinator with Jacksonville in 2021. He was the quarterbacks coach with the Seahawks from 2018 to 2020. He was the offensive coordinator for the Colts in 2016 and 2017. I'm just, you just kind of go back and you look, what did those offenses do? With Jacksonville, he was hired. He was their passing game coordinator under Urban Meyer. That lasted a year. He was not retained when Doug Peterson came in. He was with the Colts. I mean, I don't remember. And again, some of that, who is the head coach, who is the quarterback, all that kind of stuff. But the idea that this dude could actually end up being the head coach, and I guess, hey, are you willing to take on Jason Witten? Yes. All right, you're the guy. And again, he might turn out to be the right guy, but on the surface, I mean, I know the name. We've all known the name. Schottenheimer is a famous name in coaching. But what has he actually done in Dallas? Clearly a lot more than what we gave him credit for on Mike McCarthy's staff because Mike McCarthy was the play caller. But for him to go from, we're going to interview Schotty to he might end up getting the job, to me just blows me away.
Well, it's unbelievable, and you have to wonder. And again, it would be unfair to sit here and say this guy's going to be a bust. We don't know. I don't think anybody knows anything about him other than the people in that building. My question would be, what is his plan? What makes Jerry think that he would be a good head coach because he would do whatever Jerry wants? I mean, and that's what people are going to think. And the hell with satisfying the fan base, Jason. That to me is secondary because fans are fickle. They're going to some are going to like it, some are not going to like it. What do the players think? And that's the key thing. It's not even about Jerry or Steven or anybody like that or even Schotty. It's what do the players think of this guy, and will those players that put on that helmet on Sunday afternoon play hard for a Brian Schottenheimer the way they did for a Mike McCarthy? That's the question that I want answered, and we're not going to know that if Schotty ends up getting the job until the season begins next year. That's what I want to know. The hell with everybody else. What do the players think?
Well, and you look at it and you think about the different candidates out there. Now, reading up on Schottenheimer, in 2018, when he was the OC of the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks had the league's top rushing offense for the 2018 season, and Russell Wilson had a career-high passer rating of 110. Although in 21, he was fired by the Seahawks after they lost in the wild card to the Rams due to philosophical differences. Of course, you think about the head coach, Pete Carroll. His name's been mentioned a lot for this job. And you look at some of the different staffs that Schottenheimer has been a part of. I can't get mad at all the different people that he's worked with because, man, he's worked with a lot of the best. But at the same time, he has bounced around a lot. And that is, to me, a little bit concerning, although he's been in Dallas since 2022, started there as a passing game coordinator and coaching analyst, and then became the OC when Kellen Moore moved on. But again, he didn't call plays. You look around and you go, all right, Anthony Lynn, he coached on the Cowboys staff before. Jerry knows him. He's interviewed for the job. Robert Saleh, he didn't impress Jerry, or because he's defensive minded, that's not what Jerry was looking for. It's just
or Saleh wasn't looking for that. I mean, Saleh, I've seen he's going to get a second interview with the Jags. Yep. Then San Francisco is begging him to come back to be their defensive coordinator. So I don't know it's Jerry didn't like Saleh, or maybe Saleh didn't like what Jerry had to say. Could be a combination of both. But I don't look at Robert Saleh as ever being a serious candidate for the Dallas Cowboys. It just seems to me like it was an interview just to do it, and then Brian Schottenheimer pops out of nowhere. I don't know. It's just a crazy thing, and it's just been crazy in Dallas over the last year plus with the free agent period, with not doing anything there, with the whole Mike McCarthy debacle, and now your head coaching search.
I wonder. In all honesty, does Schottenheimer's stock rise in the eyes of Jerry Jones? Because Kellen Moore is in the NFC Championship game. Cliff Kingsbury is in the NFC Championship game. Now, I'm a big Cliff fan on a personal level. Man, I'd love that. I mean, kid from New Braunfels High School. Yeah, that'd be awesome. But one of those guys is going to the Super Bowl. And if you're a betting man, you got to bet that that's going to be Kellen Moore. And does Jerry not want to wait till the Super Bowl to hire a coach because they got to put together a staff, and he wants to do that sooner rather than later? I just wonder if that is timing, if that's the reason why Schottenheimer is now the favorite to get this job, because of timing. Jerry doesn't want to wait. Kellen, man, you're having a lot of success over there. That success is going to cost you a job. I mean, it's the only thing to me that makes sense. And if Schottenheimer is announced as the head coach, I can't wait for the press conference and the BS that Jerry is going to try to sell us on why he is the right guy for the job.
Oh, he is, and Jerry's pretty good at doing that. Look, if Kellen Moore is your guy, and you have to wait another 3 weeks, so be it. He's your guy, and you want that guy. So you don't just go hire a Brian Schottenheimer. Well, I can't wait 3 weeks. And so, okay, Schotty, you get it out of default. I mean, to me, that's mismanagement completely. But again, I don't understand anything Jerry has done over the last, 15, 16 months. Nothing of it makes sense to me. And so I guess this would fit right in with what's happening. But if your guy's still playing, if it is a Cliff Kingsbury or a Kellen Moore, and you have to wait a little bit longer, get it right. I mean, don't just settle for a guy that has never done anything and hope that all of a sudden, miraculously, he's going to turn things around in Dallas without any experience at all when it comes to being a head coach.
And again, you look at, and maybe Kellen Moore turned him down. Maybe I don't know, because about 30 seconds after the championship game last night, Ian Rappaport's reporting that DC is on his way out, right? I mean, it's like, dude, things can get put in place. I mean, Ben Johnson already had his defensive coordinator hired seemingly before almost immediately after it was announced he was getting the head coaching job. Kellen Moore can get the job and work on a staff and just don't release it yet, kind of thing, if he is the guy. And again, there could be something about Schottenheimer that Jerry loves, and he's been the guy all along, and we didn't know it. Again, I'm trying to make sense out of this, and it doesn't make sense. But then it is the Dallas Cowboys, and Jerry hasn't done Jerry type things and acted right, or like you just said, you've been questioning him since that loss to Green Bay. Did he get a concussion by banging his head on the wall after that loss? I don't know, but a Schottenheimer move does fall in line with what we've seen from Jerry over the last season, but it still doesn't make any sense. I mean, this makes as much sense as Chan Gailey did 2 decades ago.
Well, and that's what I mean. It's just whether it's Schottenheimer or Kellen Moore. I mean, is that any different in your mind than, I don't know, Jason Garrett? Is that any different in your mind than and name a head coach since the Cowboys have last won something? I mean, none of it makes any sense to me, but it makes sense to Jerry, obviously, because that's been his MO. I mean, Mike McCarthy, I wasn't thrilled with the Mike McCarthy hire, but I'd much rather have Mike McCarthy than any of the names that are being floated out there right now. I'd much rather have Mike McCarthy because, to me, he's the best candidate out of all the names that are floating there. I want Jerry to do something different. If that's Kellen Moore, I wasn't expecting a Brian Schottenheimer different, but if that's what he thinks is it, look, I'm all for letting it go and seeing what Schotty can do and seeing what the plan is. And if that's Jason Witten down the line, so be it. But let's get a plan in place. At least we'll know what the hell they're doing, and we can all just kind of go from there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the biggest difference for me between Kellen Moore and Brian Schottenheimer is Kellen Moore's recent success. I look at the resume, up, down, fired, up, down. I mean, Schottenheimer's had a roller coaster career like a lot of assistant coaches. But Kellen Moore played in Dallas, coached in Dallas. I mean, it's got all those kind of Jason Garrett, kind of, Sean Payton, the one that got away. I mean, I could see where, Jerry would want Kellen Moore. But Schottenheimer? I don't know. And
Dude,
again,
I'd much rather wait for Cliff at this point in time. I would. And look, you got to figure the odds are pretty good. No offense, Command Skins fan, but the chances are pretty good Cliff's going to be done after Sunday. I mean, I don't think anybody disagrees with that. There's more than a 50-50 chance of that happening. One of those guys is going to be done. Wait one more week before you do something dumb.
Unless, of course, Jerry is just convinced this is the guy, and then he's got to convince us. And I say us, I mean the Cowboy fan base, because to go from Deion Sanders to Schotty, from Prime to put an I in Schotty, lose the O. That's the kind of hire that I'd be looking at right there. It's crazy.
Nuts.
Mm-hmm. Brian Egel, I know you're going to be heartbroken over this story that's coming up. I mean, it got you into looking at baseball cards. And of all things, we'll explain coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Injuries do happen, and when they do, you can skip the ER and get straight to an Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, strains, conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday. They have on-site x-ray, casting, and bracing. Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, but best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. So if you're injured, get to an Ortho Now Injury Clinic. Learn more online at tsaog.com. That's tsaog.com.
Riding I-10 with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6. KTFM Floresville. And everywhere at sasportstar.com.
So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Ow! Sweetie, come here. Don't worry. I see a lot of patients with the exact same thing.
Ever since the ice skating rink went in next door?
Or is it more than
Dr. Clark's business is heating up.
So many patients need my help. How will I find time to see all of them?
They need to hire a scheduler, stat.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
George gets justice. When you've been injured, you need to get George Salinas Injury Lawyers because you need someone who understands your pain and the impact an accident has on your life. You need someone who listens and is always there fighting for you and your future. When you get George Salinas Injury Lawyers, you get all this and more. If you've been injured, it's time to get George. And remember, you won't pay anything unless they win your case. Call George Salinas at 210-225-0909. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-707-6152. 800-707-6152. 800-707-6152.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. The next time you're out to dinner with friends, you can order the shrimp cocktail for the table. And maybe you'll realize it only comes with 4 shrimp after you've already given away 3, but that one shrimp will be so good. And if you switch and save hundreds, you can get shrimp all the time. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for shrimp. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? HIMS can help. Get started at hims.com/joy. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, the Spurs are in Paris. They're getting ready for a couple of games with the Indiana Pacers beginning on Thursday. Some good news, though. R.C. Buford has told a French reporter that Pop is expected to return. R.C. is quoted as saying, he has been improving weekly. We don't know when he will be back. but he will be at some point. Well, the national championship game saw Ohio State take the title, their first one since 2014.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix on this blizzard snow day in San Antonio.
Miserable weather. Horrible weather in San Antonio. It's just awful out there.
Awful. I mean, it's
awful.
When you look out the window, though, it looks lovely.
It does.
Not windy.
Beautiful blue skies.
Well, the snow that was in that flower bed over there earlier is now gone.
Yeah,
I think I'm now without snow.
Yeah, I'm snowless myself, and I know it's above freezing because the waterfall and the pool's not going anymore. It goes automatically when the weather gets below freezing, so it doesn't ice up there. So I know it's above freezing. It looks like it's improving drastically.
Yeah, my phone says 37 degrees.
All right.
Although we do have it in our contract, we don't have to go out of the house if it's under 41. So I think we're still within our contractual obligations here to work from home.
Well, I don't think it's going to get much warmer. It's certainly not going to get up to 41 today.
No.
According to my app, 39 is supposed to be the high. Tomorrow's going to be beautiful. The rest of the week looks like it's going to be pretty. But today's horrible. And we just don't want to, and we want to make sure we're safe.
Today is horrible. Tomorrow, by the end of the week, we're back in the spring. And I will say, want to credit old Bill Taylor from Ken's TV. Came on with us yesterday, and he nailed the forecast, the timing of everything, of all of it, when the snow was going to get here and when it was going to be gone. Good for him.
Well, you know what they say about that blind squirrel.
Absolutely. I know you don't want to give him a lot of credit, but I mean, he was about as on time as a Southwest flight from San Antonio to Las Vegas. I mean, that's just,
yes.
I mean, you know, couple minutes here, couple minutes there, but ultimately everything that he said was going to happen actually did.
Yeah, the guy's pretty good. I'll give him credit. He's all right. Not bad. But, you know, it was nice to see a little snow out there, a little snow on the rooftops this morning, a little snow in the flower beds and stuff. But that's about all I want to see. I'm good. I've had my fix for the winter, and we can move on.
That's it. We've seen it. I saw my neighbors. They posted a video of their kid. He was trying to do snow angels on the trampoline, which he was wearing shorts and a T-shirt. It was a bad idea. He did not complete the snow angel. And his poor kid is a Buffalo Bills. His kid is a Buffalo Bills fan. He's got a lot to learn before he actually makes a home game in Buffalo.
Yeah, I would say so. Although, you know, those crazy folks in Buffalo will be out there with shorts on and like wife beaters and stuff like that, and they don't care. But the difference between them and Hal's kids is Hal's kids aren't drinking yet. That's the difference.
That you know of. Well, there's
no
that,
that I know of, yeah.
And they have no experience in any snow, which was on full display this afternoon or this morning. Not that I saw them or heard them for that matter, but I saw them post the video on Facebook and laughed. So they got a lot to learn. A lot to learn about cold weather.
They do.
Yeah, they're about the same age as a kid that's about to learn a lot in life. Let's explain on the Headline Blitz.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. Two guys, two opinions, never enough time.
So at one point over the last couple of months, there was a deal that was put out by the Pittsburgh Pirates that if you had Paul Skeens' rookie one-of-one baseball patch card, that you were going to get all kinds of stuff, including 30 years worth of season tickets behind home plate. Then Livy Dunn chimed in and upped it and said, you know what? You'll also get to spend a game with me in my suite.
Well, and that would have been enough for me right there. I'd have said, okay, I'm here. No problem. The fact that there's some other goodies thrown in, I mean, a game in Livy's suite, oh my. I don't think I'd watch one pitch.
You wouldn't need to. And again, I mean, that's the kind of prize that might cost somebody their marriage, and they'd be, all right, it's worth it.
Well,
you know, you get a date with Livy Dunn. Well, the card has been found.
Wow.
It was pulled by an 11-year-old in Los Angeles. An 11-year-old is going to have his first date with Livy Dunn.
Boy, he will remember that the rest of his life. And at least he's a little closer to Livy's age than I am. So,
and neither one of you have a shot. But
exactly
when you look
right.
at it, I mean, but think about, I mean, he's 11. His first date's going to be with Livy Dunn. Just all of it. But 30 years worth of season tickets behind the Pirates home plate. I mean, obviously, if he's in LA, he's going to end up selling them. You know, typically you think somebody in their 20s, 30s wins that, and that becomes a nice gift. This might actually put this 11-year-old through college.
Well, I mean, I would think so. Those tickets aren't cheap. That's for sure, right behind home plate, even though it is the Pittsburgh Pirates. But there's a lot of good stuff here that I hope he does take advantage of. You're talking about a meet and greet with Skeens, 2 Paul Skeens autographed jerseys, a softball game for 30 at PNC Park with Pirates alumni. So, you know, there's some pretty good stuff there, but you wonder if the Pirates want this so badly, and they do, and I get it, that card's probably worth a hell of a lot of money.
It's got to be. And again, I mean, if it was found in Pittsburgh, getting 30 buddies together to go play with some Pirates alum, that'd be cool. But what are they going to, fly all the what is an 11-year-old, 4th, 5th grade? We're going to charter a plane and fly all your friends out. All of you are probably Dodger fans. There's some things in there that for an 11-year-old, it's just cool as hell. But the fact that, all of the other stuff, you get to hang out in the suite with Livy Dunn and you're 11. I mean, you're at that right age where you probably know you like girls at this point, and you're going to go spend that, and for the rest of your life, you've set the bar so high. Your first date is Livy Dunn. You're screwed for the rest of your life, young man.
Well, I mean, that'd be a valuable lesson because women do that to guys all the time. One look, one date, and you're screwed for the rest of your life. So, I mean, it happens, Jason. It happens. You just got to pick and choose. Now, my question is, are you going to get to decide Miss Dunn's outfit for the day?
Oh, stop. He's 11.
I'm just saying.
I don't know anything about this 11-year-old, but I'm curious. Does mom chaperone him on this trip, or does dad?
Dad, I guarantee you.
Which is exactly why it's going to be his mother.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if she's wearing that LSU gymnast outfit or something else. I'm just wondering.
Stop.
Look, I don't know. I don't know if maybe he's going to be nice, but if I'm dad, I'm thinking, I'm checking with some card collectors right now and saying, how much is this thing worth? And then you weigh the odds. I mean, again, the kid's in LA. Pittsburgh's not exactly close. So I may be wanting to know how much that's worth before I make this deal.
I'm with you because clearly there is a cash value there. And do you calculate 30 years worth of season tickets, which is the one thing that you can put actual cash value on with the, not today's price, but, the incremental rise in value each and every year. Then you take current auction items and what Paul Skeens memorabilia is going for. And then you got to add something on top of that because this rookie card is only going to increase in value for an 11-year-old kid. I mean, why not? I mean, it's similar yet very different than that Wemby jersey swap with that kid the other day with that jersey up for auction because, Wemby didn't do that with the idea that kid's going to sell the jersey. This card, the idea is you all know it's a 1-on-1. Somebody's going to get it and somebody's going to make a lot of money on it. And if you're the Pirates and Paul Skeens, the idea of just getting it for yourself, what's it worth to you? That becomes the biggest question.
Well, you're exactly right. And for the Pirates to give away, 2 tickets behind home plate, I know those are valuable seats, but for them, it's like, okay, that's nothing. They can do that. It's not going to be a big issue. But I'd say, hey, how much is that? Give me the money and we'll call it a day. I mean, because you're talking about 30 years, 2 tickets behind home plate to every game. What is that? 80 some odd games, right? 82 games, home games. That's going to be a lot of coin right there.
Yeah, no, it's and who knows in playoffs if they ever got good and actually went to a World Series. I don't know. It's been found though by an 11-year-old boy.
Well, it'd be interesting to see what he does decide to do.
Yes, that definitely will be. National championship game last night. We'll get into it, the actual game coming up. But there are a couple of interesting side note stories about that game. The Toronto Maple Leafs announcer has had that gig for 40 years and took his first night off last night so he could watch his Notre Dame football team lose in the national championship game.
Probably wishes he had gone to work, right? Because that game was not even as close as the final score indicated. It was terrible.
It was, not good. Now, Notre Dame, for you Notre Dame haters out there, interesting story about the locker room scene after. Because apparently, reporters are allowed in the locker room, but reading some of what went on in there with players not handling the loss well, cursing at reporters, it was just a very bizarre scene in that locker room after the loss last night.
Well, and that comes from a lot of reporters. It's not just one. There were several that were revealing they go up and ask questions and they get, cussed at and everything else. And these guys didn't want to talk. And look, I understand that. You're upset, you're disappointed, you lost a national championship game, but hey, you're getting paid now, most of you. That's part of your job, is to talk to reporters. I used to get so upset with some professional athletes that didn't want to talk. And it's like, well, dude, that's kind of your job, to talk to the media. It is in your job description. I hate to break it to you. Well, it's the same with Notre Dame. And, I like Marcus Freeman, but when I hear something like this, it makes me wonder, what is the culture like in that locker room? And I mean that sincerely, because if this is the reaction to your players after a loss like this, and this is how they react, that doesn't look good for anybody, including the head coach.
Well, it's a bad look for the organization. Now, reading the difference in the college football playoffs, media is allowed in the locker room. Most of the other time, select players get taken to a podium in a media room, and the locker room is off limits to reporters. So a lot of those guys might have been facing reporters, and they're not used to it. But that's on the NCAA and how they changed the media policy during the playoffs. And obviously those guys weren't coached up. As long as the questions are respectful, and it sucked. The reporter, and you've been there, Joe, I've been there after a tough loss, and you got to ask those questions. And nobody wants to answer them. Trust me, you don't want to, but ask them, but it's part of the job. But to get cussed at like that by multiple different players, not a good look for Notre Dame. Almost as bad as the media rep that was driving a golf cart with Ryan Day and Will Howard. As they come out, they get from the locker room a golf cart to take them to the media room. She tried to turn around in the hallway and hit the wall and smashed up the golf cart.
Ryan Day, you deserve it, brother. Thank you. Thank you. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm so sorry.
Everybody okay? Everybody okay?
Yeah. Ryan Day was a little slow getting to that cart. Will Howard jumped out laughing, but Ryan Day was closest to the wall, and it looked like it bent the wheel. It's just bizarre to see that. It's not hard to drive a golf cart.
Well, and look, that cart, when she hit the wall like she did, it kind of tumped over a little bit, and Ryan Day had to hang on or he was going to fall out. Look, she didn't mean to, obviously, but it was just kind of a weird. If you get a chance to look at that video, it's out, it's everywhere. It's kind of bizarre. She just did not. She underestimated the turning radius of one golf cart, and turned out to be funny. Nobody got hurt, but. That's how that was their first celebration of a national championship. And they need to find a better driver.
Yeah. All I know is somewhere there's a PI attorney in Columbus, Ohio, that's friends with Ryan Day.
Yeah.
That's going to say, you know what? We got a case. You're back there, right? Yeah. Yeah.
That neck's feeling bad.
See. Yeah. Well, I mean, he feels good right now. He's feeling no pain after Ohio State beat Notre Dame 34-23. Let's talk about the game coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
First, though, let me tell you about Stevens Roofing. I love talking about Stevens Roofing, family-owned company, local company. And I tell you what, you know as well as I do, your roof covers the most important part of your house, arguably, right? And it covers everything that you hold dear, including your family. You need a reliable roofer you can trust, and there is nobody better than Stevens Roofing. And any kind of project you can think of when it comes to roofing, Stevens Roofing can handle it. Commercial projects, you want a metal roof on your house, they can handle that as well. Stevens Roofing is licensed by the city of San Antonio. Estimates are always free. All you have to do is give them a call, 210-785-0994. And Stevens Roofing is now in the solar business. If you've been wanting to save a little bit of money and maybe go solar or thinking about it, you need to call Stevens Roofing and let them explain exactly what they can do. Solar panels are increasingly affordable. They can save you money on your monthly utility bills. They'll often increase the value of your home, and there are even options to keep the lights on when the grid goes down. That is so important. We had our first cold snap, really cold snap. And, you heard Minix a few minutes ago. His lights went out for a few minutes, and he's lucky they didn't go out for a little bit longer than that. You call Stevens Roofing, you can take care of that. They have a team of certified experts who will deliver solar solutions tailored to your specific needs. So for roofing or for solar, call the local company that's been trusted for decades. Call Stevens Roofing, 210-785-0994. Stevens Roofing has your family covered. Give them a call, 210-785-0994.
South Texas, get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. The one and only Rich Eisen is on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. With over 20 years of NFL experience, Rich Eisen brings breaking stories, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews with sports legends to your airwaves with unmatched wit, insight, and passion. Catch all the action every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show, only on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
On Super Sunday, you can be the crunch time hero. PorkRinds.com is bringing you a game-changing twist to your big day because it's also Pork Rind Appreciation Day. The crispy, crunchy, crave-worthy snack you love deserves its moment. PorkRinds.com is celebrating by giving you a chance to win tickets to the 2026 big game in Santa Clara. Enter at PorkRinds.com and become your own crunch time hero. This Super Sunday, make sure your snack game is on point. Celebrate Pork Rind Appreciation Day. Get in on the action at PorkRinds.com.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part, they accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams winter sale and get 30% off paints and stains January 17th through the 27th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Something amazing is happening. Despite a citywide blackout,
this company is still up and running. That's because CDW deployed and managed a cost-effective Eaton Triplite Series Smart Pro UPS to safeguard equipment easily and reliably. Keep the power on and protect your IT equipment from electrical challenges. Triplite by Eaton and CDW. Make amazing happen. Find out more at cdw.com/triplite.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time and skip the regular line at the airport and pay for speedy security. Imagine not having to quickly unpack and pack at the place you already came packed to. And wearing your shoes the whole time you're there? You can't put a price on that kind of luxury. Well, actually you can, and you paid for it. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for speedy security. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
The Ohio State Buckeyes, national champions. It is the Blitz here on 94.1, a San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix. Notre Dame made it interesting late, but when they tried that field goal attempt, you kind of went, it doink, and there kind of went most of the drama. Not a great game at all, to be honest with you.
Why did they kick the field goal there anyway? I mean, honestly. I mean, you're down. What were they down? 16, I don't know, 16 points?
They were down 16 with, 9 minutes to go. 4th and goal from the 9-yard line. The idea of you go for it and you get no points, it's still a 2-possession game. If you kick the field goal there, it's still a 2-possession game, but you're down 13, so you don't have to score twice and make two-point conversions. I wasn't mad at Marcus Freeman for that because I think he knew if they don't get it, it's that demoralizing. At 13, you feel like you've got a shot. But then when they doink it off and you realize, all right, now you're still down 16, it just looks bad. I didn't mind him kicking that field goal there with 9-10 minutes to go in the game.
I did. Look, they weren't going to win that game anyway. I mean, let's face it. I don't care if they kicked that field goal or not. Ohio State's going to win that game. They were just a better team. It was clear and obvious. And so I just think that, in a situation like that, you've got to roll the dice. You got to roll the dice. A field goal did you absolutely no good in that situation. So I had a problem with it. I just thought, man, that's a chicken bleep way out of it there. Just go for it. The hell, at least if you're going to go down swinging.
Yeah, I mean, again, I knew where he was going. Like the idea of getting 2 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions, that percentage is there. You kick the field goal, though, you still need 2 scores. And to me, that was Marcus Freeman saying, I believe in my defense that we're going to be able to get a stop. And they got that next score, but when they needed it, Jeremiah Smith, it's crazy to think. Last January, that kid was playing in the Alamo Bowl, in the Alamo Dome, in the All-American Bowl, right? 54 guys, by the way, in the game last night at one point in the last couple of years have played in that All-American Bowl. But they got that big pass play to salt it away. And for Ryan Day, who went from you're going to get fired after that loss to Michigan to winning a national championship is pretty impressive, although – if you're an Ohio State fan, well, you're still riding high right now because you just won the Natty. Ryan Day has still lost 4 straight to Michigan. I mean, it's still 4 straight losses to Michigan.
And that's all that matters at Ohio State.
Well,
It is.
I mean, you win a national championship, but how much grace does that buy for Ryan Day? Or is it, all right, but you better beat Michigan or we're going to talk about firing you? I mean, and look, we know how college athletics work, and we know Ross Bjork from his time at A&M. Ryan Day is probably going to get a fat extension and raise after winning a national championship. And yet if he loses to Michigan next year for the fifth straight time, it's going to be fire that dude.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't lose to Michigan. That's just it. You can't do that. And, yeah, this will buy him some time, though. There's no question about it. Winning a national championship will buy him some time. But I just – look, you still have to beat Michigan. Some things are even more important than national championships, believe it or not. And for Ohio State, beating Michigan is more important. They haven't done that in, 3 years? That's a problem. So you got to get that done, Ryan Day. Look, it almost made me ill watching that game last night because and I'll tell you why. Not a Notre Dame fan. I think I've made that clear, and I'm really not an Ohio State fan. So it's like I really don't want either one of them to win. Is there a way that they could both lose this game, and we could move on? Obviously, that's not going to happen. But it was like. Just like I was ill. It was one of these teams is going to walk away, and you knew pretty quickly. That first drive was good by Notre Dame, but it was all downhill for them after that. I mean, completely and complete domination by the Buckeyes.
Which way did you bet the game?
I actually bet Ohio State, so I was sweating it there a little bit at the end.
That last field goal is the old saying: "Good teams win, great teams cover." And they proved it with that win last night. And I think they needed that. Just, kick that field goal, convince. And what an incredible playoff run. Obviously, longest season we've ever had in college football. But the number of top 5 ranked teams that they beat along the way, and the way you lose to Michigan, and for them to roll through the playoffs the way they did, all double-digit victories, that's impressive. I saw somebody say, are they the greatest national champion we've ever seen? That will always be debatable, but we've never seen a championship run like what we just saw because we've never had a 12-team playoff before. But who they had to beat along the way, I think whoever ends up winning, we would talk about, is this the greatest run we've ever seen?
Well, it's got to be up there, right? I don't know. I'd have to go back and look and see. But obviously, it's different for everybody. Is this Ohio State team better than, I don't know, pick one that's won a national championship in years past? Some of those Alabama teams or, and obviously we'll never know. But, yeah, to go through a playoff, to go through the gauntlet that Ohio State had to go through, it's impressive. So, yeah, they're up there. But I'm not ready to give them the greatest college, team or run or whatever the case may be just yet. I'd have to look at that a little bit.
We know this. They are the most expensive championship team ever.
They are that. Yes.
They have
best
that
team
title.
money can buy. Yes.
Absolutely. ND Kaloo, San Antonio Sports Hall of Famer, will join us next. We'll talk Texans and about 2 of his other former teams that are playing this weekend in the NFC Championship game. ND Kaloo next here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, the best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds. 210-225-2121 is the phone number. You can text the word bail to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you really understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Man, there's a lot of conditions there. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They're open 24/7, offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. So if you're down in Corpus, up in Dallas, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121 or go online, mybestbailbonds.com.
If you travel as much as the San Antonio sports guys travel, while you're on the road, be sure to take us along. Listen to the 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star live stream anywhere on the Odyssey radio app.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-505-9603, 800-505-9603, 800-505-9603.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
James Pledger with San Antonio Sports Star here. Have you played Pick 6 from DraftKings? The playoffs are here and time is running out. As the official daily fantasy sports partner of the NFL, DraftKings does fantasy sports like no one else. Play for better payouts on Pick 6. It's super easy to get started. Just select 2 or more players, choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. Pick 6 is available in most states, including Texas, Missouri, California, Georgia, and more. And DraftKings is making it even sweeter for first-timers. New Pick 6 customers play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Win more cash on Pick 6. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and use code KTFM. That's code KTFM for new customers to play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus award is non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 30 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promo.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN+. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line, golf, Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1, a San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. On this work from home, we had a blizzard this morning, kind of Tuesday.
We did. It's cold outside. I'm very comfortable inside the house.
There was heavy snow. You could measure it with an eraser here in San Antonio, maybe. I don't even know if a tape measure would have actually gone down there to let you know what was down there. I think there was real snow in Houston. ND Kaloo, probably working from home too, joining us on the Buyers Barricades guest line. ND, man, you survived the blizzard of 2025?
Because right now we're at the point where there hasn't been any issues as far as electricity, but it feels like you're on the East Coast, and to see all the kids in the neighborhood running around, it's actually pretty cool to be in this little so-called snowstorm here in Houston.
Well, India, it was the eastern part of Texas and even into Louisiana that seemed to get the worst of it. That's crazy. New Orleans, I hear, it was covered in snow today.
I heard about that also on the Weather Channel, and I thought the one city where it seems more odd than Houston, to really have this type of snow is New Orleans. So I'm just wondering how they're reacting. But I think right now we had the enjoyable part, but the part where we have to hunker down and brace is this evening, because we're supposed to be getting those below freezing temperatures.
Yeah, and when it melts and then it ices over. Although New Orleans and Galveston got snow, which, again, you certainly didn't expect that, but there we are. I guess we did expect the Texans season to end on Saturday against the Kansas City Chiefs, but not in the way in which they did. They outplayed Kansas City. They outgained the Chiefs by 100 yards. They didn't have any turnovers. First time in NFL history, Indy, a team has outgained their opponent in the playoffs by 100 yards, not turned the ball over, and didn't win. Before Saturday, teams are 49-0 in that scenario. Texans make history, not the kind they want. Everybody blaming the referees. You're going to jump on that list as well of blame the refs?
You know what? Yes and no, because I'm not a big blame the ref guy. Because when I played for Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator for the Eagles all those years, when we would complain as players in film study, oh, look at that call, he would always point out that's not the call that beat us. It was because we didn't take care of business on the field. But come on. I mean, if there's one team out there that does not need help from the refs, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. And there were two calls that were just outrageous. And again, I'm not going to say that's why the Chiefs won the game. If I'm going to be transparent and I'm going to be honest with the listeners, I think the Chiefs right now are a better football team. But when you give the better football team some of those egregious calls, it makes it that much tougher. And you just mentioned it, Jason. You could even point to the stat line that this is the first time in history that a team out-rushes, out-games the opponent, doesn't have any turnovers, and they still lose. Yeah, that's what happens when you have two egregious calls like that extends drives, extends plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. But again, I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, if it wasn't for those two calls, the Texans would have won. But it made it that much more difficult.
And it does. And you're right. You don't need any help if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. What I will say, though, about the Chiefs, and I don't know what it is, ND, and I'm sure you've played against teams like this, that sometimes it's the regular season is a regular season. And once the playoffs arrive, they just kind of flip a switch and start playing like the Super Bowl champions they are. Travis Kelce, for example, guy's been MIA the entire season, and then he has a hell of a game against the Texans.
No, you're 100% correct. And every time I think about the Chiefs, the way you mentioned it, they remind me of another team. And I'm sure if I do a countdown, we could say it all together. But it reminds me of the San Antonio Spurs, during their run where, they kind of coasted in the regular season, and then during the playoffs, Tim Duncan and them boys. Now, don't get me wrong, they showed up all year, but you just felt like it was a different Spurs team. It was almost like they were saying, okay, now the season has started, and that's kind of how the Chiefs were. But with the way that they're, squeaking by these teams, with the way that you're looking at games and you're saying, man, if this and this and this didn't happen, and you're only pointing to three examples, I still think this is the best time to face the Chiefs for the Buffalo Bills. So obviously we're here to talk about the Texans, but if I'm Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, I'm licking my chops at getting a chance to take on the Chiefs.
Yeah, but the Bills have already been called for 2 roughing the quarterback penalties in the game Sunday. So we'll see. ND Kaloo joining us here on the Blitz. DeMeco Ryans says he's going to take about a week to figure out his staff, but it took him about 4 seconds to fire the offensive line coach. The question really is Bobby Slowick, who a year ago Texans fans were wondering if he would leave for a head coaching job. This year, a lot of Texans fans want him fired. Do you expect Bobby Slowick back on the staff next year?
I think right now DeMeco Ryans is writing the best, most specific, detailed, and most glowing reference for Bobby Slowick to get that head coaching job somewhere. He's probably going to try to push him on because he doesn't like firing people. He's such a good person, but he's also understands the business. So, all jokes aside, I don't know, but my guess is the offensive line coach can't be the only one that's shown the door. But with Slowick, I think he's just hoping he gets one of these head coaching jobs, and he's probably really going to bat for him because with what happened this year and the growth that you want to see from C.J. Stroud, and this young offense, Xavier Hutchinson, Nico Collins, in my opinion, you can't have that guy come back.
Which brings up an interesting thing, ND, because in the NFL, more so than anywhere, you're a hero one year and a GOAT the next. And that seems to be what Bobby Slowick has become. What was the difference in Slowick this year that he was so great last year and this year, not so much?
It feels like he didn't adjust because he didn't forget football. I've had a chance to talk to him during those production meetings before games. He's a young guy. He understands football, but I think with age and experience, for whatever reason, in the NFL and this world, we tend not to respect age. Everything's trending younger. But I do think with age and experience, you understand that just because you had success with a quarterback, just because you had success with an offense one year, you don't just show up the next year, do the exact same thing and expect to have the same results. Because these defensive coordinators, they're studying in the offseason. They're watching every single snap, not every game, but every single snap that you played, and they're trying to adjust to it. So I think and again, this is my own theory. I think he just went in with the same mindset, the same thought process he had last year, not knowing that, okay, people know what C.J. Stroud can do. People know what his strengths and weaknesses are, and he didn't adjust to it until it was too late. We know C.J. can run. You don't want a guy like C.J. to run, but for us to see him utilize his legs in the last couple of games, that's a shame. That's something he should have been doing all year. I'm not saying he's Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, but he does know when to pick and choose to get out of the pocket, similar to a Patrick Mahomes.
ND Kaloo joining us here, the pride of Marshall High School, San Antonio Sports Hall of Famer, Texan, Washington, Philadelphia. 2 of your former teams playing this week in the NFC Championship game. Are you leaning Eagles or those Command Skins?
You know what? I'm leaning. If I'm having to put some money on it, I'm putting it on the Eagles. I feel like the Commanders have been playing, I'm going to say, above their heads. And I know that's a knock, and I know if the current players heard me say that, they'll be like, screw this guy. But I just feel like they've been playing the best ball, and sooner or later, reality is going to hit. And I just have a feeling that it's going to come in the NFC Championship game, and that's where the Eagles are going to take advantage of it. But it's pretty cool to see 2 of my 3 teams that I've spent multiple years with having a chance to get to the Super Bowl. But, yeah, if I'm putting money on it, I just think the Eagles are a more complete team. They're a team where not every single star has to play like a star for them to get the victory, but it's going to be a special, special time for the NFC East. How about that? 2 teams in the NFC East representing the entire conference.
Well, be careful. You're going to make Jason cry because, he's upset that, there's 2 NFC East teams and not one of them are the Dallas Cowboys, ND. So that's been a problem for him this week.
Oh, I forgot they were in the NFC.
No.
They haven't been in my bad. I completely forgot.
I'm just curious, knowing that you spent time with both Washington and Philadelphia, the games in Philly, do you call up there to the former player's office and says, hi, my name is ND Kaloo. Any way to get a pass for the game this weekend? I played for both.
What was cool is both of them sent the email saying if any of y'all are any of the former players, it's called the Legends program. They're not calling you an actual legend, but they're saying if any of y'all want to get your tickets, sign up here. But I'm too lazy to make the trip, so I'll be watching it here in the comforts of my home in Texas. But it is pretty cool that they send that invite out.
Yeah, no doubt. Plus, ND, it's going to be cold in Philadelphia on Sunday. I mean, it was miserable there last week, and I can only imagine it's got to be that cold again this Sunday.
Let's be honest. He's too cheap to buy a hotel and a flight.
Okay, you know what? Y'all are both right because I thought about all of that. Like literally everything that y'all just I thought about the cold. I thought about the price. I thought, okay, even though we're getting the tickets at face value, I still have to pay for a flight and a hotel. And then I got to sit in that cold weather. I was like, nah, I'm going to sit at home and sip on some menudo when I'm watching the game.
A menudo, huh?
Oh, that's the best soup ever.
Indeed. When you got the deal from Washington, do they call you ND or they call you Andy like the Eagles do?
You know what's weird? I only played there for 3 years, and they know my name more so than the Eagles. So I'm not sure why, but they do say ND.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, Indy, I've got to ask you because you've played for both of these teams. When I look at the Philadelphia Eagles, and you're absolutely correct, they've got the most talent. But Saquon Barkley has been pulling their behinds out of a fire this whole year, and he did it again last week. I mean, the Rams were primed to beat that team, and Saquon Barkley puts on the cape and becomes the hero. Nobody else really seems to be doing anything.
No, I mean, I can't disagree with you, but like you said, he's been doing it all year. And then you still have, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, who they weren't there. They didn't really show up big because Jalen Hurts didn't have a big day with his arm. Now, keep in mind the weather of that game. That wasn't a game where you were going to have a bunch of yards through the air. But, no, I'm definitely thinking of Saquon Barkley when I talk about the team who has the better players when I'm looking at the Eagles-Commanders matchup. But I also feel like that you're going to have a situation where Jalen Hurts has a big game, where A.J. Brown shows up, Devontae Smith, Kenneth Gainwell. That's a guy that, for whatever reason, during the playoffs, you seem to hear his name more so than you do during the regular season. So even though the numbers haven't been there for Hurts as far as lights-out numbers, yeah, I'm with you. Saquon Barkley has been, helping the team. And when you talk about Saquon, you also have to talk about that offensive line because it's great as Saquon has been. There's been many, many games where I'm like, man, he wasn't even touched until he was 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. So you have to give the big uglies up front there, too.
Absolutely, you do. So, I mean, taking the Eagles in the NFC Championship game, who do you like in the AFC Championship game?
I want to go Bills. But the Chiefs, it just feels like, and this is credit to them, no matter how ugly or how close it's been, they just find a way to win. Like no matter what's going to happen, they're just going to figure out a way to win. But, man, seeing the Bills against the Ravens, the turnovers that they caused, and I know right now everybody's talking about the tight end Andrews for the Ravens, saying that's the reason why they lost. But there were a lot of plays where you could point to the Bills and say, hey, they caused that fumble with the punch out. Von Miller, picking up the fumble or the drop ball. No, the fumble by Lamar Jackson. I mean, that old man was moving when he got that. So you have to give credit to the Bills, but just something about Kansas City where it's like they're just going to find a way to win. So with that being said, I think the Chiefs will figure out a way to win. The rest are going to help. And the Eagles are obviously going to take care of the NFC. So we're going to have a Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl.
Well, Indy,
and
I'm
of
curious.
course, Chiefs are going to three-peat then.
Which is nice.
You know what?
Go ahead.
If they make it, I was just going to say, I'm not one of those people where I start cheering against a team because they're having success. If it's never been done ever, I would love to be a part of history as far as a fan, saying, okay, I saw the team who won it 3 years in a row. Like I'll be okay seeing that.
I was going to ask you about Andrews, but since you brought that up, if the Chiefs do three-peat, because I've seen the debate already all over the place, that all of a sudden Mahomes then is the GOAT. He overtakes Tom Brady. I don't think that's the case. What do you think, ND?
I don't want to call anybody stupid who says that, but that's stupid. I mean, Tom Brady has 7 rings. I don't. Look, 3 Super Bowls in a row is awesome. What he's done, so what Patrick Mahomes has done this early in his career is awesome. If he stops playing football right now, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So, but Tom Brady, in my opinion, is in a whole different class. Like when I think of greatest of all time, true GOATs, I think of Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Tom Brady, Tiger Woods. Like that's it. Like. But to say that Patrick Mahomes will unseat him as the GOAT if he gets 3 in a row, it's simple math. 3, 7, which one's greater? Now, if he gets 8 or if he even gets 7 and you say he has 3 of those in a row, then you can have that discussion. But you got to win 5 or 6 if you're even going to have that discusussion.
And again, I don't think he's at that discussion point yet, but you're shorting him one. He's already got 3 rings. He could get 3 in a row, a total of 4, 7 straight AFC Championship games. And it feels like he's just getting started with his NFL career. We'll see. ND, before we let you go, I want to ask your thoughts on, because I'm trying to figure out if your paths crossed, even though you were a defensive guy. Brian Schottenheimer might end up as the Cowboys head coach, which is baffling to me. He was the quarterback's coach in Washington in 2001. I can't remember if that was your last year there or if you were back in Philadelphia by then. Have you ever crossed paths with Schottenheimer? And do you think this is a guy that should or could be the head coach of any team, let alone America's team?
Yeah, we just missed each other, but I'm more and more convinced, even though he'll never say it, that Jerry Jones wants somebody that's not going to outshine him, that he could control, for lack of a better term. But I really think that's his MO. Like he wants somebody where they understand that, okay, I'm the head coach, but certain decisions that typically are reserved for a head coach are going to be made by the owner. Now, I'll say this. I have absolutely no problem with that. He's the one who owns the team. He's the one who risked the money. He's the one who's invested to become the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. It hasn't worked, but it's his. Like, I'm always amazed when people are like, oh, Jerry Jones can't do that. He should fire himself. No, he shouldn't. He's the billionaire who bought the team. Like, that's his. That's like walking into someone's house and be like, oh, man, these drapes are ugly. You need to change. You shouldn't be the interior designer. It's like, no, this is my house. Like, that's how I'm going to do it. Like, look, don't ever let me own an NFL team because you're going to see some weird stuff going on because it's mine. Like, and I'm not even a Jerry Jones guy, but I respect what he's able to do with the brands. I respect what he's able to do as a businessman. But no, if he wants to run his team, it's his team. He knows football. He played at Arkansas. He's won Super Bowls. He hasn't won any lately, but he should be able to do whatever the heck he wants with his team.
And coming from a guy that played for little Danny Snyder, that's respect, man.
No, it is. I mean, I just never. I'm surprised more owners aren't as involved with their teams. Like, look, there's this one experiment I've always wanted to see, and if I owned a team, I would do it. Like, I would hire 6 sumo wrestlers, and I would just say, anytime we have 4th and short, 3rd and short, I'm putting those sumo wrestlers in, and I'm just telling them to shoot off the ball. And like, to me, that's a no-brainer that you're going to pick up a first down. Like, if I was the owner of a team, I'm implementing that, whether my head coach wants to or not. I'm like, DeMeco, we're the sumo wrestlers. I don't want to be politically incorrect. Are they Japanese or Chinese?
Japanese, I believe.
Okay,
yeah.
So I'm going to say, DeMeco, go to Japan and go get you the biggest, fattest, nastiest sumo wrestlers. We're gonna sign them to a veteran minimum deal, and we're gonna have this, instead of the tush push, we're gonna have. I got to come up with a name for it, but we're gonna have that's not gonna get y'all kicked off air because it's y'all show.
Yeah.
Ooh, we'll call it the Pearl Harbor. We're gonna put that in. And we're just going to pick up the first down.
Well, I wouldn't even have them wear their uniform. I mean, just wear that diaper that they normally wear, and nobody's going to want to touch them.
Exactly.
We're way off the deep end all of a sudden. I think they're required to wear a helmet.
Oh, they'll wear a helmet, but the bottoms.
Yeah,
they're going to wear their normal bottoms.
You want to have that crack for days, baby. You know what I mean?
Look, as a defensive lineman, I know I'm not touching them.
Exactly right.
Oh, good Lord. ND, go build a snowman or something, man. We'll talk to you next week about who's heading to the Super Bowl.
Let's do it. Talk to y'all next week.
That was good stuff, I think. ND Kaloo on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. You know, yesterday we were doing the show up at the Rue Pub. It was a holiday. Even with the weather, place was packed, ready for that game last night. And you know, any big game, any big event, there's no better place to go watch than the Rue Pub there at 281 in Redland Road. Whether it's a big game, a big fight, it's going to be on those 3 massive 170-inch screens, TVs all around. You got the Spurs playing at 1 o'clock on Thursday. Go watch it at the Rue Pub. Saturday, the Spurs playing again. Sunday, you got the AFC and NFC Championship games. And when you go to the Rue Pub, go hungry. You know, the food is fantastic, all made from scratch. The biggest and best wings in town, about 15 different burgers on the menu, including the original Wemby burger. They've got that great bison burger, a great chicken sandwich. I love the fried shrimp, the appetizers. Pledge tells me the salads there are wonderful. And that kitchen is open late every day with the full menu available. So when you need a late night meal, don't go to a drive-thru. Get into the Rue Pub, 281 and Redland Road. Happy hour weekdays from 11 to 6. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night. The best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant, the Rue Pub, 281 and Redland Road. We'll see you at the Rue.
You're riding with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6. KTFM Floresville. And everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Guys, if you're not feeling like yourself, testosterone therapy may be the answer. Look for the VIP treatment you'll get with the experts at Synergenics Testosterone Weight Loss. Synergenics has over a decade of TRT experience. Book your appointment at synergenicshealth.com.
Make it your New Year's resolution to drink better beer. That's what I'm talking about. Who needs dry January? Let's go all in with Karbach, baby. Karbach Brewing out of Houston, but they love San Antonio, and their beer is all over the city. Their head brewer came here and said, we want San Antonio to be a priority market for us, so they have put their beer all over our fair town. From Hopadillo, their in-your-face hopped IPA, to Love Street, which is their blonde Kolsch-style beer, and it's their best seller, by the way. On top of that, the Crawford Bock, which is one of my personal favorites. There's something for everyone in Karbach's lineup. So go to the grocery stores, go to the liquor stores, they're going to have it. And you might be surprised, all the bars and restaurants that you might think not have it probably do have some Karbach behind the bar. So whenever you're out watching football, watching playoff football, ask the bartender, please make it a Karbach.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at TSAOG.com.
The Gomez Law Firm has been San Antonio's trusted law firm for 50 years. We have Jose with the Gomez Law Firm here with us today. Jose, tell us about the cases you all specialize in.
We do ride-sharing cases. We do 18-wheeler cases, work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you or your family have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, you need to visit joegomezlaw.com. Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Ohio State Buckeyes are your national champion, their first title since 2014. Of course, they beat Notre Dame last night. Ohio State ends the year as the unanimous #1 AP poll, followed by Notre Dame, Oregon, Texas at 4, and Penn State at 5. By the way, Texas and Ohio State are now the betting favorites to win next year's title. Spurs in Paris. R.C. Buford says Pop will be back at some point.
Joe Reinagle.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Maybe you're watching on YouTube. You can always subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. Guessing a lot of people may be working from home today, like Ryan Eagle is, like I am, Jason Minix. Somebody sent me a DM. We're on a big screen television. Somebody's living.
Is that right? Wow.
That's always kind of cool when you see that. If you are watching on YouTube, tweet us photos of how you're watching us. So whether it's a laptop or on the big screen, at Joe Reinagle 210, at Jason Minix, and your snow pics from today's blizzard. Obviously, I think we've all survived the blizzard of 2025. We all heeded the warnings and stayed home today and survived blizzard 2025.
Heeded the warnings. That's right. Well, Greg Shelton went to a lot of work to put all this stuff together to make sure that we were all taken care of with the equipment that we can use at home. And I would hate to have disappointed that guy by going into work today and saying, well, Greg, thanks, man, but we didn't need it. We came to work instead. He would have been very disappointed.
He would have, because Greg Shelton did go through the effort to make sure not only that we all had the proper equipment, which is no easy task because it's not just for us. KTSA, Trey Ware, Jack Riccardi, Sean Rima, they all needed their stay-at-home gear. Rob Thompson and A.J. Hoffman this morning, you and me. And again, individual, like, where you come into my house, if it's safe enough for you to come to here, you could have gone to work, everybody. And Greg did all of that. And then A.J. Hoffman. Now, I heard him this morning talking about how he was a hero for making it into the office today and making fun of Rob for staying home. See, and I don't know sometimes how AJ's, nobody knows how his mind works if you've listened to it for 5 minutes, but
exactly.
He ain't the hero of the day. He's the dumbass of the day. One, Greg Shelton got everything ready for you to do it at home. My guess is he couldn't figure it out and decided, I'll go in, because I did hear he got to work right before the show started. So it either took him a hell of a long time to get to work, or he didn't plan ahead, couldn't figure it out at dark 30 this morning and said, screw it, I'm going to take my chances and go and, proclaim himself a hero of the day. Dude, you're a dumbass, man. That was dumb. Although smart if the other option was calling Greg Shelton at 5 o'clock in the morning saying, I can't figure this out. I don't know.
I'm not doing that.
I don't know what happened, but AJ, bad move, man.
Yeah, you want to go in and proclaim yourself a hero. That's fine. No problem.
Keep telling yourself that.
Exactly right. And, you and I talked about it, Minix. What do you think? I mean, it's a beautiful day. It is cold outside still, but I think all the ice, but it is going to get dark again. I don't think there's any rain in the forecast or anything like that, but, it's better safe than sorry. And both of us are going to be in the comfort of our own homes, safe and sound tonight. So everybody listening, you don't have to worry about Jason and I. We're going to be perfectly fine.
Absolutely. I mean, it is a tough commute from the kitchen to the living room.
Yes, it is.
11 steps maybe is what Pledge told me. It might be a little bit more than that.
I just have to put all this equipment away. That's the problem. I got to pack up all this equipment and put it away, and then, that's going to be a pain in the butt.
It takes 2 minutes.
You think Shelton will come over and, I don't know, wrap all this stuff up and put it away, take it with him?
Call him.
I would love to hear that conversation. No, dude, don't be that lazy. You got it set up.
Yes.
Almost without any problem. So putting it away is easy. Just make sure everything goes back in that case that it goes in there. You don't even have to make it look nice. Shelton never cares how it comes back as long as everything comes back.
Well, and that's easy to do. I mean, I can do that. I've done this a few times, but what was funny about today was I haven't done it in a while. Right. So it's been a while since I've operated the tie line, which we call it here. Right. So I had the wrong phone number. That's all. And just had to get that taken care of. And it was all good.
Yeah. No, we got to figure it out. And I'll tell you what, I've got this new piece of equipment. I think this is what we're going to end up taking to the Super Bowl. I like this one. I like the other one, too, because I know it. But, yeah, this new, yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad you know how to operate that thing. That's good. And
I figured it out. I had a 38-second tutorial yesterday from Shelton, and then I figured out some things just messing with it on my own today that it can do. It can actually make you a pizza.
Really?
No.
Well, that'll
really.
be nice as we're sitting in New Orleans.
Not really. But there's all kinds of things this thing can do. So
that's good.
Might end up going to New Orleans, and it's less bulky from what we normally carry.
Yeah, this tie line is pretty bulky. And I know the piece of equipment you're talking about, so that's good. And it's good every now and then to get a refresher course on this stuff because you just never know when you might have to use it at home. Yeah,
that's it. You look at a weird Tuesday, this Taco Tuesday. A lot of people I know working from home. Again, tweet us the photos of your Blizzard photos and how you're watching on YouTube today. I see Claymore has tweeted out some great photos, and he kind of did what I did earlier. He's got an 8:30 a.m. photo, and there's some snow on the ground, and 11 o'clock, 11:30, and most of it's gone. I kind of did the same thing from his Claymore tweeting from his house in Converse. And again, those are legit Blizzard pictures from San Antonio. We got snow, and there's proof. You stayed home for that. You stayed home.
And I'm looking at Claymore's 8:30. The car across the street is completely covered in snow, so you know it was a blizzard. And then you go to 11:30, and the car across the street is perfectly clean. But still, Claymore, I'd be careful. I mean, that sidewalk looks slick. I hope you didn't try to venture out on that sidewalk.
No, he didn't.
I'd be careful.
I don't even know if he actually stepped out of the front door. He opened the door and took a picture. It's kind of what I did off my back porch. Although I didn't post my noon picture. I sent it to my friends in Kansas City that were making fun of us for our blizzard when they're at -4 and have had snow on the ground there for 2 weeks.
Well, that's their problem. I mean, they live there, right? They choose to live there. So
yes, they do.
I don't want any part of a 2-week snow on the ground stuff. No part of that at all.
None whatsoever. At Joe Reinagle 210, at Jason Minix on Twitter. Spurs giving a bit of an update on Gregg Popovich while in France. We'll give you all the details coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Now, while we joke about the lack of snow in the blizzard, we do have freezing temperatures. And if you are dealing with any frozen pipes, burst pipes, you know there is one company to call, and that is Quartermoon Plumbing, Heating, and AC, 210-651-5899. Whether it's a frozen pipe or if your heater is not working properly, you know at Quartermoon, they are experts at worst-case scenarios. Big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. No commission. Sales reps, they'll provide estimates and second opinions, and they have a great experienced staff that has earned an A+ ranking with the Better Business Bureau. And at Quartermoon, they are green certified. 210-651-5899 is the phone number. 651-5899 or online at quartermoonplumbing.com.
South Texas, get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. The one and only Rich Eisen is on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. With over 20 years of NFL experience, Rich Eisen brings breaking stories, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews with sports legends to your airwaves with unmatched wit, insight, and passion. Catch all the action every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show, only on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Rock's Discount Vitamins and More wants to thank God and San Antonio for making Rock's the king of supplements. Are you losing weight, building muscle, or just getting healthy? Rock's has you covered. Weight loss and muscle building packages starting at just $75. Plus, get a free in-body scan in 15 seconds with the In-Body 270 analysis. Start tracking your results today. The pros at Rock's know their products, how they work, and what's best for your health and fitness goals. Call 210-342-7625 or visit rocksdiscountvitamins.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? HIMS can help. Get started at hims.com/joy. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix, working from home on this Blizzard Tuesday. Hope everybody survived Blizzard 2025.
Well, I think everybody survived, Jason, but it's cold outside, man. I mean, it really is cold outside. I had to venture out earlier today, and the roads were fine. I didn't have any issues there, but, man, it's cold.
Well, it is. According to my phone, the current temperature is 38 degrees outside, which is cold. I'm not getting the feels like anymore. It doesn't look windy outside, so feels like must be, I don't know, 38. It was much colder earlier. But it is one, and different parts of town had different levels of snow. Last night, towards the end of the game, I'm seeing some people out by Stinson. They were getting some snow pictures, and we had nothing at our house. And then my brother that lives in Killeen, he's texting pictures of snow at his house, and we had nothing. And honestly, there was a little FOMO there, knowing that I was going to be home. Let's see. But then also, because my wife, nurse, they all have to go to work. They can't do nurse things from home. They actually have to get to the hospital. And so I wanted to make sure it was safe for her to get to work. And it took her about an hour, and when she called me and said she made it, she said there were a couple of areas where, she was sliding a little bit. In one area, turnover in the medical center, she started sliding, and the truck behind her started sliding. And she said that was a little scary because he slid past her, but didn't hit her. So, there were some moments this morning, and my goodness, the traffic reports this morning on the morning huddle felt about 5 minutes long, with Debbie talking about accidents here, there, and everywhere else. So, there was some legit crap going on this morning.
Well, and I'm glad that all the schools were let out today, and they were let out early. Yeah, they prepared as well as we did, and we were ready for this thing. But I'm glad that they were, because it could have been a lot worse. Look, some people can't help it. You got to get out. You got to go to work, and you just got to get there the best way you can. So pulling for all those folks this morning for sure. And I hope everybody listening, if you had to go to work this morning, I hope you're okay. You made it safe.
And if you're on your way home, take your time. Keep it tuned on 94.1. We will help you get all the way home, hopefully with a little laugh or some info, although this is not a laughing matter, very serious, but in a good report, a positive report on Spurs head coach Gregg Popovich. We haven't gotten a lot of updates on Pop's status. In fact, we haven't gotten any updates on Pop's status. The last update was a statement released by Gregg Popovich, which gave you no kind of time frame other than he's doing better and was going through rehab, and that was a while ago. But R.C. Buford, talking to media over there in France, as the Spurs are getting ready to play these Paris games, did confirm that Pop is expected to return to coaching the Spurs basketball team. Quote, he's been improving weekly. We don't know when he will be back, but he will be at some point, end quote. Now, that does not mean this season. That might be, hey, just take this season off and we'll see you at the beginning of next season. That could mean he could be back, I don't know, at the All-Star break. I have no idea based on this, but it does, as careful as the Spurs are with statements, this does lead you to believe that he is probably closer to returning, or the decision that, yeah, he's going to be back. They're working in that direction, because RC could have answered that in a gazillion other ways if it were going in a different direction.
Well, and look, they're getting reports. The doctors are saying this and that, and obviously it must all be good news, and the rehab is going well. And that I'm happy for Gregg Popovich. If he wants to continue to coach, then he should be allowed to do that. If his health is such that he can do it and not have any problems, then yes, I hope he comes back, and I hope he comes back sooner rather than later. This team could use Gregg Popovich, and look, Mitch Johnson is a young guy. He started out like a house on fire. He was doing great, but all of a sudden, man, it has fallen a little bit. And I think a good Gregg Popovich touch with this team would help out tremendously. And maybe that's exactly what they need. I'm still hoping, Jason, that they're planning something before that February 6th trade deadline. This team has got the pieces already together, and you add another big piece or two, and I think this team could be a force this year. But I think it's time to get on it and get it done. And I really hope that we don't get past February 6th and the Spurs did absolutely nothing.
Well, and that's one of the things that you look at, and none of us have any idea Gregg Popovich's current involvement. My guess is getting back to work is his major motivation during this rehab process. But when you look at GM Brian Wright, RC, and they're all in France right now, and obviously Pop isn't, but I would imagine Pop is still very much involved in some decision-making processes, and that's probably good for Pop as far as his rehab process goes. They can't afford, whether Pop's involved or not, because of Pop's current situation, to say, well, if he's not, you can't stop working. This team is, well, a couple weeks ago I said they were better than their record. Right now, the way they've been playing, I don't know if they're as good as their record. But they are 19-22. And, you look at all those double-digit games that they have blown, 5, 6, times they've had double-digit second-half leads and not won those games. They should be about 23, 24, 25 wins, even though they're not. This team looks like they should be around the 5th or 6th seed, even though their record right now has them in the 12th spot, but they're not far off from being the 7th seed. So, they can make a move and be a legit playoff team this year, and I wouldn't mind that. The other part that scares me, though, Joe, is when you talk about making a move at the deadline. If they continue to play as piss poor as they've been playing the last week and a half or so, what if Chris Paul says, dudes, trade me to a contender? And you wonder if, and we talked about that when he came here. I mean, him coming here was him saying, I'm not going to get a ring in my NBA career. The idea, though, of come here and at the deadline, we'll trade you to a contender. We'll find a spot for you. We have no idea, but the Spurs could go one of two ways at this deadline. They could make trades to make this team better and make a playoff push, or they could make trades to help some other teams out and do what? Get more draft picks? But they're going to go one of two ways at the deadline. I can't see them standing pat.
Well, I sure hope not. But look, they need a shooter. That's exactly what they need. They need somebody that can score, somebody that can take some pressure off of Wemby. Devin Vassell, I keep hoping that he's going to be that guy and he will get more consistent. But it's disturbing to me watching this team play, and I'll just take the last 3 games as an example, when there are quarters where they're just non-existent. They're not showing up at all. And that's disturbing, and that's a team that, to me, is regressing. They're not consistent for 4 quarters, and even Wemby. And I'm not going to sit here, and if somebody says this, I'm going to lose my lunch. This team should not be tired. I am sick of that excuse, and I've seen it other places. Well, maybe they're just a little tired. Tired of what? You're an NBA basketball player. You shouldn't be tired. You guys are the best in shape of any professional sport that I can think of, maybe besides, I don't know, soccer. But you guys, being tired mid-season is ridiculous. And if that's the case, then the Spurs ought to think about a different conditioning plan. That can't be the case. The case is they're just not shooting well, and they're just not showing up in quarters, and that's a concern. If it's the players a little bit, if it's coaching, whatever it may be, it needs to get fixed and fixed in a hurry.
Well, you've known Will Sevening and that staff as long as anybody. I just look at the last week or so is the one time, the first time I felt like Mitch Johnson might be in over his head. But he does have Brett Brown sitting there. And there is a reason they chose Mitch to be the interim head coach and not Brett Brown, who has been a head coach before, right? But it's not like this staff is lack of experience and certainly lack of talent. But there is something that has just happened, and Mitch to this point hasn't figured out how to fix it. If any of us knew how to if we knew how to fix it, we would probably be in different professions right now. But it's collectively as a group, and sometimes it's like last year, the Green Bay game for the Cowboys. Everybody came out and laid an egg. How does that happen, right? The Spurs have had several games where it feels like everybody has come out and not been on their best game at the same time. In pro sports, I don't know how that happens. It's one thing for a guy to have an off night. That happens. But collectively as a group, nobody can make a shot tonight. Nobody. And nobody is putting max effort on the defensive end. Nobody. It would be easy if it were, man, this guy or that guy. It's hard to put a finger on what is going wrong with this Spurs team, but it's something in the recipe before they get to the court than it is something that is just happening on the court.
Well, and what's frustrating, Jason, is the fact that there are quarters where this team looks unbeatable. They're playing as a team. They're making shots. They're doing everything they have to. They're playing defense. First quarter of that Miami game the other day, that was a Spurs team that you say, all right, this is a team. And then they come out in the second quarter and are completely the opposite. And I don't know, what that is. Did Miami, who have one of the best coaches in the NBA in Eric Spoelstra, And so there's certainly a coaching mismatch there. There's no question about it when you're talking about Mitch Johnson and Eric Spoelstra. But still, you come out and the Spurs score 11 points in that second quarter. And then the third quarter wasn't much better. And so those are the lapses that the Spurs have had over the last several weeks that just make you scratch your head and go, what in the hell's going on? And to me, I think you've got to find some more veteran guys that can come in here that have played, that can score the basketball, that can help this team continue to grow. Chris Paul's been great. Harrison Barnes has been great, but they're leaving. We've already talked about Chris Paul maybe involved in a trade before the trade deadline to get to a contender. They're leaving. They're not going to grow with this team. It's a one-season education, if you will. So you got to find those players that are going to move on with this team, and right now they just don't seem to have them.
They don't. Again, it's funny that listening to you say that, and it's one thing to go half to half or game to game. This Spurs team is quarter to quarter, and
yes.
And it's so bizarre that from one quarter to the next, you don't know what you're going to get. Where is that second half team that played the Lakers a week ago yesterday? And I don't know who showed up against the Grizzlies and that second quarter against the Heat. You got these 2 games with the Pacers, then they're home for a couple of games, and then they start the rodeo road trip. And, typically you look at the rodeo road trip, and I know we go way back in history when you do this because the last 5-6 years have just sucked, but that rodeo road trip was good for gelling this team. Maybe this trip to Paris does that, although I just don't see how. The Thursday game is at 1 o'clock our time. The Saturday game is at 11 our time. And then they come back from France and they don't play again until next Wednesday night against the Clippers here at the Frost Bank Center. But they're in Europe. They've got to come back, reacclimate their body. When are they going to have time to practice to work on the issues that clearly need to be fixed?
Well, it's going to be tough to do. Look, they should be getting some practice time in Paris. They arrived there on Monday or Sunday. Yep. And they don't play till Thursday. Now, I know there's a lot of events in between, especially for Wemby. He's got to do some stuff, and he's the reason they're there anyway. But still, I mean, this team should get some sort of practice time in. But again, it scares me because I'll be honest with you, Indiana Pacers are a pretty good basketball team. They're playing decent basketball. Spurs could go up to Paris and come back 0-2 on this trip. They've got to be more consistent, and that is the problem right now. Consistency. They just have not been playing consistent basketball, and that's an issue.
It's a big-time issue. The interview for Brian Schottenheimer reportedly has started. Let's talk about that. Coming up here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
We've given Edwin and Vic the day off for Martin Luther King Day. I didn't realize. No, this is it's like corporate mandated.
It's kind of like
only whites working
today. It's kind of like being Jewish on Christmas Day.
It sucks.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Whether you're ordering wings for the game, whipping up a 7-layer dip, or ordering pizza, there's something about football that makes you want to eat. And this football season, Uber Eats has the best deals on game day food. No matter what you're craving, from 2-for-1 pizza to buy one, get one wings, Uber Eats will be dropping new deals each week, all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Hey guys, Jason Minix here from the Blitz. Have you avoided getting your T levels checked? Why continue to live with low energy or low libido potentially caused by low testosterone? Make a New Year's resolution and go to Synergenics. Their personalized TRT goes beyond standard treatments, and they have GLP-1 weight loss options as well. For current patients, Synergenics offers a $150 referral credit whenever you refer a new patient. Get started. Book your appointment at synergenicshealth.com. SYNERGENX health.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-505-9603, 800-505-9603, 800-505-9603.
On Super Sunday, you could be the crunch time hero. PorkRinds.com is bringing you a game-changing twist to your big day because it's also Pork Rind Appreciation Day. The crispy, crunchy, crave-worthy snack you love deserves its moment. PorkRinds.com is celebrating by giving you a chance to win tickets to the 2026 big game in Santa Clara. Enter at PorkRinds.com and become your own crunch time hero. This Super Sunday, make sure your snack game is on point. Celebrate Pork Rind Appreciation Day. Get in on the action at PorkRinds.com.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson for Prize Picks, the best place to get real money on your sports action. Me and 10 million other people are playing every day, and now's the time to do it. Have you ever heard of this? You've got a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. You can run your season all game long, and now 1,000 times your cash. Heck, I've been a Prize Picks player for a long time. I've not seen this. 1,000 times your cash. It's playoff time. It's now or never. Don't miss out on the fun in the last few weeks of the football season. Prize Picks is the best place to play, up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get the action on the sports that you're playing, and now you can get up to 1,000 times your cash. Join over 10 million members. Play today. And if you sign up today, you get up to $50 instantly when you play. Use the code ALAMO. Sign up today for 1,000 times your cash. Prize Picks. Run your game.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Blizzard 2025 Day. Glad to have you along. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. All working from home today. We listened to authorities. We stayed safe.
We did. We stayed safe, and hope you all did as well. But, all packed up with the equipment, Jason, we really had to stay home. I mean, you just, I don't want to hurt Greg Shelton's feelings. Never want to do that.
No, he went through a lot of effort to make sure we could all broadcast from home. And, well, we do what we're told.
We do. We
did not get an email, for the record, that says, hey, by the way, this weather isn't as bad as we thought. You guys can come to work if you want. We didn't get that email. we were told to work from home.
Well, I haven't checked my email today, so I don't know. Did we?
I have no idea. It went to junk.
It went to junk.
Delete.
Yes.
Every now and then working from home, doing from here is nice. I wish I would have planned better and had, I don't know, a brisket or a tri-tip or something on the smoker, some beef ribs.
Well, that would have been nice too, but where I'm set up, it would have been difficult to check. And I say difficult to check during the breaks. I guess I could have. It's just right there. The house isn't that big, but
you would have plenty of time.
I'm sure I would, but I didn't think about that either. And oh well, it's the way it goes. Next time, look, we're just in the middle of January. I'm sure there's going to be another snowmageddon happening that we're going to have to broadcast from home. We'll plan a little bit better.
That's it. You know, one of the things that I've never actually made that I want to is chili on the smoker. I've never done that. I know there are people out there that do incredible chilies. I've never made one, and part of it, there's two of us. You know, when you do a chili, you know, if you're doing it on the smoker, I'm not talking about opening a can of Wolf Brand or anything, but you know, when you're doing your own, I mean, there's a ton of chili, and then you get people that put all kinds of things in their chili, and you know, there's some good ones out there, and then there's some not so good ones, at least for my flavor palette. But today would be a great day to experiment with some chili. So we need another snow day where we can work from home, and I might try a chili. Although if you have a good chili recipe, send it, because man, you Google those things, there are so many different ways to do chili that way. You know, there's so many different ways.
Well, I've got a little chili recipe that I might share with you at some point in time. Haven't made a good chili. I've never done it on the smoker. But I make a decent chili, just stovetop, and it's not Wolf Brand. It's the real deal. So that's a good idea,
right?
It's not Hormel either.
Oh, okay, no,
it's ingredients. I mean the basics. You go in and you do the thing from the very beginning. And my only problem is, and a long time ago, Jess, let me just take you back down memory lane for a minute.
A story time with Joe.
That's right. Now, when I was in San Marcos, there used to be a chili cook-off called Chillimpiad.
Oh yeah,
and it was a great chili cook-off. It was great. And so we would get a team to everyone. And the best part about it was, I mean, you got there about 6 o'clock in the morning, and you were drunk by 8. And then you still cook
took
chili.
You so long?
Well, exactly. But it was one of those things. It was just a fun Saturday. And we would always compete. We never won, but I learned some chili recipes, but then you'd be able to go and taste other people's chili. And the worst chili, and if you make your chili like this, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to like it. There were chilies that actually tasted more like spaghetti sauce than chili. And that's just wrong.
Well,
just wrong.
Now at Chillimpiad, that is wrong. Although in Ohio, they are known for their Skyline chili, and you get like chili spaghetti and some different things like that. And it is more spaghetti sauce than it is chili. The worst chili I've ever had. See, and I don't mind Skyline chili, but you've got to be in the mood for it, right? There's just something like, if you're at a chili cook-off, you're expecting chili. You're expecting something meaty,
yes.
Something, right? Not the hell is this?
Yes.
It's like when you go to the Taste of Whatever event and you see a great steakhouse and they want you to sample their bread. Dude, I think of you as a steakhouse. I don't want your bread. I want the steak. But we were at, and you might have been there. I don't know if you remember this, but there was a guy that used to do a chili every year during Cowboys training camp.
Oh yeah.
And one year he's very proud of his chili, and he's got 87 different recipes for his chili. And he does it every year, brings all the stuff out there, and he does this chili. And you kind of look forward to it. And Rob Thompson and I were sitting there, we got our chili, we're eating this going, there's something wrong with this chili. And I couldn't finish it. It was not good. Rob didn't finish it. It was not good. Throw it away. And so I go ask him, I'm like, man, that chili, it was a little different this year. What did you do? He's like, I added grape jelly. And he was so proud. He was so proud of his chili. But he added grape jelly, and it was awful. And you could just tell by the half-eaten bowls in the trash can. I don't know if anybody liked that chili. Don't put grape jelly in your chili.
Well, yeah, and sometime he probably found a new recipe that called for grape jelly for whatever reason, and I can't imagine that would be good in anything. It'd make it too sweet. I'm more of a spicy chili guy. I like my chili spicier. I know you wouldn't like it that way, but nope. I certainly don't want it sweet at all. So, I don't know what he was thinking there, but I I don't think he would do that again, right? I mean, hopefully he's got some friends that would say, hey, dude, man, that was bad. Don't do that again, please.
Well, I wasn't that friend.
No.
Yeah, I remember I say, well, did you like it? And I was like, I'm not sure. That was different.
I'm not sure.
I didn't tell him it sucked.
You should have.
Yeah, well, I mean, you just try to be nice.
Well, yeah, not when it comes to food, especially chili. Come on. It's got to taste something like chili. Grape jelly. I can't even imagine grape jelly. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah, it was bad. Were you there for that one? Do you remember that one? Or
I don't remember that one. And if I recall, those chilies were like he'd make them. We were out on the field, or I remember him making it there on the tennis court, though.
Yeah,
right
he'd make them there. He'd bring everything as pops, and my first thought was, man, this doesn't taste right. You went grocery shopping in California, and you had to use what you could find at the grocery store in California, which it sure as hell ain't H-E-B. I can tell you that.
No, not even close.
The only thing about those stores that they have on H-E-B is you can buy liquor in the grocery stores out there.
Well, that's not H-E-B's fault, right?
No,
that's the state of Texas.
That is the state of Texas. But like you go to a meat counter there, man, and you're settling. You're settling. Like for our steak nights, we're settling for the best you got, which wouldn't hold a candle to anything you could get in San Antonio for sure. The Houston Texans offseason has begun. DeMeco Ryans, there are so many questions about the way things ended for Houston because they didn't go further this year than they did last year. And in some cases, you could say they might have regressed, even though they still made it to the second round of the playoffs. Now, DeMeco immediately fired the offensive line coach, but everybody wants to know about Bobby Slowick. DeMeco Ryans says he's going to take some time to figure out his staff.
There'll be a lot of questions about staffing players and all those things. Just want to let you guys know that I'll take the week to make those decisions on staffing and all those things. So before everybody gets started, just want to let you guys know that.
Yeah, please don't ask me about Bobby Slowick. I'm just going to start off don't ask me. I don't want to tell you about Bobby right now. I don't know. And by the way, ain't nobody put in a request to interview this guy either.
No, I would imagine with an answer like that DeMeco Ryans is looking around. Right. Yeah. I mean, I would think that he's looking around for a new offensive coordinator. That's going to be interesting. That is certainly. Yeah. Usually you hear a coach say, well, Slowick did a great job and we'll talk and we'll see what we can do. This was just a flat out. Give me a week, man. The guy's disgusting me and I can't stomach him right now. We'll let me go take some Tums and we'll discuss him in a couple of days. That was awful. It doesn't look good for Bobby Slowick, and judging from the Texan fans that we deal with on a daily basis, I don't think that would hurt any of their feelings to see Slowick go away.
No, and as far as roster goes, DeMeco is short and sweet on his answer with that question.
As me and Nick approach the offseason doesn't change. That's every year we're looking to improve our roster as best as we can to put out a winning team.
All right.
Yeah. Well.
Now, all right. So again, DeMeco, I get it. Cliche after cliche after cliche. But when you listen to running back Joe Mixon, he thinks Nick Caserio has something cooking.
First off, I'm going to say I'm a great recruiter. But another thing on top of that is I'm not here to sell no dream. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, whether, going to the Pro Bowl or if I was just at the crib and, free agency started, whatever the case it is, man, when it comes down to it, definitely going to do whatever we can to obviously improve the team. When it comes down to it, I just try to do whatever I can to help my teammates, help our team win and become successful. I mean, that's why I do this, and that's why I love the game of football, man. That's why I play this. So definitely look forward to that recruiting aspect, having fans, very excited and engaged to obviously who we're basically additions to the team. And I know for a fact that Nick got something cooked up right now. So definitely all excited for it, and fireworks will be here real soon.
Fireworks.
And why would you doubt him? I mean, why would you doubt him? Nick Caserio has been fantastic over the last several years, and he's done a great job. And I would think he's an aggressive general manager, and I think he would have something up his sleeve. Why not?
Well, and again, I'm just curious what Joe Mixon knows or what he's hoping. He says he knows, or is he hoping? But Nick Caserio is proven to be a damn good general manager. I got a lot of confidence in what he'll be able to do with that roster. But they brought in a lot of guys on shorter term deals, and you wonder, like with a Stephon Diggs, does he get healthy and does he try to run it back with that team? They've got some other injuries that are probably going to extend into next season. But it starts with that offensive line. They've got to do more than just fire the offensive line coach. And they got to figure out how to get some good offensive linemen in there. It just sucks for the Houston Texans. Their season ended on Saturday, and they were playing their best football. And they might have been, well, not might have. They were outplaying the defending Super Bowl champions. They did everything but win the game on Saturday.
You're exactly right. They did. But there's something about Kansas City, and maybe the refs helped a little bit, but something about Kansas City. They just find a way to win, and it's a difficult task to beat them, especially when you're in Kansas City. Buffalo will find that out this Sunday, but they're tough. And so Houston, as bad as they performed during a lot of the season, regular season this year, they were getting it together. And I think getting healthy, I think adding a piece or two, and this team's not far away from making that push to get over that hump, to get into the AFC Championship game, and they need to move now. And that's why I believe that Joe Mixon has it right when he's talking about Caserio having something up his sleeve. You got to get that done before you have to break out the checkbook and sign C.J. Stroud to one of those big contracts. And now's the time. You got a couple of years maybe to get that done. And the Texans are close.
Now, if you were wondering as a Texans fan, because of the New England Patriots connections and the Texans sometimes being called Patriots South, what about Josh McDaniels replacing Bobby Slowick as the offensive coordinator? That is not going to happen. Josh McDaniels is going back to the Patriots for the third time. Patriots are expected to make that official soon, according to Ian Rappaport. Josh McDaniels back as OC in New England. So however you feel about that, he ain't going to Houston.
Well, that's too bad for Houston. Look, you talk about a perfect example of a guy that is a better coordinator than a head coach, and that's Josh McDaniels, because he's tried being a head coach, and he's failed miserably at it. But everywhere he's an offensive coordinator, he's been pretty good. So good move for New England. He's had some success in New England. Of course, he had a pretty good quarterback at the time during his success at New England, some dude named Tom Brady. But, yeah, I mean, so I think that's a good move. And look, Vrabel's going to assemble a staff that's going to be pretty good, and I think that's a good move. You also saw where Kevin O'Connell with the Vikings is going to get an extension, according to reports. That just came out. So a lot of coaching news coming out, whether it's new coaches or existing coaches. But I think Kevin O'Connell did a good enough job, even though the end of the season wasn't as great as they wanted to be. But he's a good coach, and I think he's got Minnesota headed in the right direction.
And you look at Brian Schottenheimer as we speak, according to reports in his interview right now with Jerry Jones, to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. The idea of Schottenheimer becoming the next head coach, he's the betting favorite now. It makes zero sense. And at least one Dallas area reporter, Shan Sharif from 105.3 The Fan, tweeted out, hearing an offer could be coming soon for Schottenheimer. And we'll talk with Shireen Williams coming up at 5:15. Shireen from Pro Football Talk. But, Joe, you look at the idea of Brian Schottenheimer, who nobody else is wanting to interview him for their open head coaching jobs. It can be well respected in Dallas, and by all accounts he was, but I'm not sure what the guy actually did in Dallas, because he was an offensive coordinator that did not call plays. You look at his history. He had that one incredible year with Seattle, but outside of that, What has he really done? He was with Urban Meyer. That didn't last long. He was, he's had some stops that did not last very long. You can't say he's got an incredible resume that gets everybody fired up. One of those up and coming dude's been an OC and never a head coach for a long time in the NFL.
Boy, I tell you what, and it came out of nowhere. Maybe Shireen can make some sense out of this, but to me, it makes none unless but it does fit with Jerry Jones and what he's done, because you look at a Brian Schottenheimer and you got to figure he's just in the same long line of coaches that Jerry has hired. It just looks the exact same. The coach that Jerry likes, that will do what Jerry wants and continue on with the way the Cowboys have been run. Now, maybe Brian Schottenheimer surprises us all and turns into a decent head coach. But I tell you what, if I was a betting man right now, I mean, this is a hire that Jerry better put on his big-time, big boy salesman suit and sell this to the fan base, because nobody's going to be excited about this hire if it is indeed Brian Schottenheimer.
He would check all of the Jerry boxes. Jerry knows him. Probably isn't going to cost him a lot of money compared to, say, a Deion Sanders or somebody like that. Yes, man. How much is he going to challenge him? Can he get the most out of Dak Prescott, which might be the biggest selling point that Brian Schottenheimer has? And quite honestly, maybe he worked more closely with Dak Prescott than Mike McCarthy as the OC and in putting the game plans together and the plays that Dak likes, because as head coach, you've got to do so many other things. But I don't know. I mean, is he Kellen Moore just a cheaper version? Because that's kind of what it feels like. And he'll let Jason Witten on the staff. To me, this is a hire that makes less sense than Jason Witten, actually, because at least with Jason Witten, you could go, okay, I can see what you're doing and who's going to be the coordinator. I mean, to be an OC that when you're not calling the plays generally doesn't lead to a promotion to head coach. At least a promotion to OC somewhere else where you can call plays.
Well, it does not. And look, you said it at the beginning of what you were just talking about right there. There's not anybody that has requested permission to talk to Brian Schottenheimer. What is it that Jerry thinks he knows that nobody else knows? It's difficult to figure this out. Obviously, look, Jerry has a plan. Now, it may not be the plan that you or I or anybody else would agree with, but he has a plan. So if it's to get Jason Witten in the door and get him the experience he needs to eventually take over this football team, is it the Dak Prescott theory that you have, that he worked with Dak more so than even maybe a Mike McCarthy? But I think maybe all of the above there, and I just think it is a coach that Jerry is comfortable with, that is going to let Jerry be Jerry. He's not going to push back, and they're going to move on the same way they've moved on for the last, 30 years. So we'll see what happens.
I don't know, man. You got to do a deep dive into Schottenheimer's history to figure out, is it better than we're giving him credit for? When we were doing it earlier, he had that one great year with Seattle with Russell Wilson. Yeah. Although, I mean, he's paid his dues. He's paid his dues. I mean, you didn't want Kellen Moore because you think he's too young and looks like he's 10. Schottenheimer certainly doesn't look 10.
Well, Kellen Moore right now is looking a whole hell of a lot better as you're looking at Brian Schottenheimer. Again, I'm not sure what the hurry is. It's not like anybody's beating down Schotty's door. I mean, they're not. So I don't know why Jerry's in such a hurry to get this done. Wait a week. Kingsbury may come available, or your boy Kellen Moore may come available. Either one of those guys could be available for a hire as early as next Monday. A little less than a week now. Why not wait? Don't get in a hurry, Jerry. Interview this guy. Fine. Do it. That's what they're getting done. But if Shan Sharif is correct and an offer is coming, to me, I think you can afford to wait another 6 days.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. More on this coming up around 5:15 with Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk. Ohio State, your national champs. Let's talk about the game and the college football playoff coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. There is some NBA action tonight. Got the conference championship games this weekend. You want to win some money while watching those games? Play the Pick'em game at Underdog Fantasy. Be like me and over 5 million other players that have won over $2 billion just by choosing higher or lower on predicted stats. That's what you do with the Pick'em game, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. You look at the stats, points, rebounds, blocks, touchdowns, rushing yards, whatever it is. You can come up with your own entry playing Pick'em. You can even mix and match sports. You can have college basketball and NBA on one entry. Create your own experience. Underdog is the only Pick'em platform that puts the power to cash out in your hands, so you can either keep riding with your entry or tap the Win Now button to cash out whenever you want. And with Underdog's double flex option, you can even take 2 L's and turn them into a W. Underdog is the best place to play Pick'em. Download the Underdog app, sign up with my promo code STAR, and deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Again, promo code STAR. Must be over 18, present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, use promo code STAR at Underdog Fantasy.
Riding I-35 with the Blitz. Star.com.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Joel, I've invented the perfect exercise machine. It's practical, efficient, and fits in any home. I give you the Row and Go. Ta-da! It's a rowing machine that connects to your toilet, so you can row and...
Stop. Folks, at Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC will help homes stay in tip-top shape. Call Quarter Moon 651-5899.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC, 210-651-5899.
License number M16004, TACLA 141074E.
My name is Jessica. Years ago, I was diagnosed with a thyroid condition. I slept all the time, was fatigued, had no energy, and a bad attitude. Now I've lost 50 pounds and I'm still losing. My medications have been scaled back, my emotions are stable, and I have lots of energy. People at work say I'm happy, perky, and my husband says he's not walking on eggshells around me any longer. The Institute for Functional Health changed my life.
Call for your complimentary consultation, 210-468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's football season, and now you can get anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. You can't get a running back, but baby back ribs? Yes. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL.
Adam Schefter here with Vivid Seats. We've got some late-breaking news coming out of the stands. According to multiple sources, Vivid Seats fans are scoring rewards on every purchase and at a rapid pace. Obviously, these rewards are a game changer, coupled with their MVP-worthy ticket selection. Why get tickets anywhere else? Don't drop the ball this season. Shop with Vivid Seats and earn rewards on every ticket. And as the official ticketing partner of ESPN, Vivid Seats is offering you $20 off your first $200 ticket purchase with code Schefter. That's code Schefter.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? Hims can help. Get started at hims.com/joy. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
A lot of NFL coaching news happening right now. The Cowboys, in fact, is being reported they are interviewing offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer as we speak. In fact, he is the betting favorite right now to take over as the Cowboys head coach. Mike Vrabel, the new head coach with the New England Patriots, reportedly hiring a familiar face there in New England, Josh McDaniel, as his offensive coordinator. Minnesota Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell getting an extension.
Brought to you by Synergenics, testosterone and weight loss. Synergenicshealth.com.
Joe Reinagel.
And for the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minutes.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix, working from home on this blizzard 2025 day. We all survived.
We all did. Thank goodness we didn't get out of the house to be subjected to the harsh conditions here in San Antonio.
Although apparently they are harsh. My wife just got home.
Yeah.
Driving, she said, was no problem, whatever. A lot easier coming home from work than this morning when she went, working in a hospital. They have to go there. Can't check somebody's vitals and do all those other things from home, right? But she gets home and says, yeah, but it's still really cold outside.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So guess what we're having for dinner?
What are you having for dinner, Minix?
Chili dogs.
There's nothing wrong with now. Is that Wolf Brand?
Yeah, that's going to be Wolf Brand. Absolute
yeah,
Wolf Brand.
Yeah.
Wolf Brand.
Yeah.
Wolf Brand chili dogs.
All right, well, that's not bad. I will tell you, and you're going to be jealous because Maggie and I stuck around last night out at the Root Pub. Actually went over to the Angry Elephant to watch the first half of the National Championship game. Had a Frito pie chili dog, and they are fantastic there at the Angry Elephant.
Well, they are, and that's actually, just all that chili talk we had in the last segment. She was like, you didn't cook anything, huh? I was like, no. That chili sounds pretty good. So we actually will have Frito pie chili dogs because we got Fritos, we got chili, we got hot dogs. So yeah, that's dinner tonight. And I'm seeing in some of the YouTube comments, a lot of people now saying they want chili, and yeah, it works.
Chili's perfect on a night like tonight. Cold weather, chili is fantastic. It kind of warms you up a little bit. I'm not sure what's on the menu here. Maggie told me, but I forgot.
Wait a minute. Hold on. She told you and you forgot.
I forgot. It was something that sounded very delicious, but she told me I forgot, and so I'm going to have to ask her again so I can get all up ready and geared up and ready to go.
The idea that your wife made you a sandwich before the show.
She did.
And she's making dinner right now while you're doing the show.
Well, she's not making it right now. She's actually still working. But you know what she did do? She allowed me to take over her office here and to set up all the stuff. And I tell you, I feel really spoiled today. I can't lie to you.
It's a wonderful thing. I see Josh Jimenez tells me I just need to fire up the popcorn machine behind me to continue watching the Cowboys circus.
Yeah.
Trust me, man, it gets a lot of mileage. I can tell you that because the Cowboys are a circus, and we'll get more on what they're doing with their coaching search coming up. And, it just kind of nobody is wanting to talk to Brian Schottenheimer, yet Aaron Glenn is getting his second interview today with the Jets, which means he'll probably end up with that job again. Shereen Williams coming up at 5:15. Last night we had the college football national championship game. Kind of a yawner of the game for most of it. Ohio State, they're your national champions. They beat the hell out of Notre Dame last night. Your overall thoughts, Joe, on the playoffs, this 12-team playoff, good and bad. Would you deem this playoff run a successful change by the NCAA?
I would say it's had its moments of not so good, right? Because there were a lot of blowouts. There were some games that weren't as good as you might imagine. My deal is, Jason, I think the seeding has got to be looked at. 12 teams is not going away. It's not. I think when it's all said and done, this is going to stay. I wouldn't even be surprised if it's expanded to some degree.
Yeah.
But seeding has got to change. It's got to be, and we talked about this, and this is no shot at Texas or anybody else, but Texas got in and had the easiest run just on paper, right? I mean, until they hit Ohio State. Oregon was the number 1 seed and had the toughest road to a national championship. And so just looking at those two examples, you got to figure that there was something wrong. That's got to be taken care of. So there's some tweaks to the system. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere at all. It's here to stay. But some tweaks have got to happen to the system.
It's interesting when you look at the way things worked out with who had the first round buys, and, that proved to be not an advantage to the teams that had the first round buys. But also, you got Notre Dame independent, and you've got Ohio State that didn't even play in their conference championship game. That seemed to work to their favor. I find it interesting that your national champion wasn't even their conference champion. That was my big issue back in the old BCS kind of days. So it is kind of bizarre when you look at it. But Heather Dinich says, while there could be some tweaks in 2025, the fact that it has to be unanimous approval, getting that, because like the Boise State crowd, they're not going to want to give up the opportunity to be one of the top 4, or where they are in there being the highest ranked conference champion, getting a bye. You look at the SEC, this is back-to-back years that the Big Ten has won a title. So does the SEC still claim to be the best? At least right now, you can't have that. But the cannibalism in the conference is certainly a lot tougher, but it costs them when it comes to the playoffs.
It does. And, that was a debate I heard earlier today. Has the SEC been replaced by the Big Ten as the best conference in football right now, in college football? And it's hard to argue that it hasn't, with what you just described. The last 2 national champions have come out of the Big Ten. The Big Ten's record over the SEC this year was pretty damn good. So at least for this year, you have to say the Big Ten is right now the king of college football, and the SEC's falling behind. That could change in an instant, obviously. But I find that interesting. I really do, because those two conferences, they've got a grudge match going on. They do. They both want to be the best. They both want to be considered the best. And right now, I think the pendulum is swinging toward the Big Ten.
It certainly is. And, of course, you follow the dollars. Ohio State had the most expensive roster, and they were able to get a championship out of the deal. That's where the money is going, and that's the new age in college football. Like it, don't like it, but if you want to be competing for a national championship, you've got to spend a lot of money. And I do think one of the deals we did see here with the portal and with the dollars, teams lack depth. Because a guy that doesn't win a starting job bounces somewhere else, gets paid, and he can be a starter there. And I don't know if that's good or bad for college football, but you see some of these backups coming in, and the drop-off is tremendous. But if you're wanting to play big-time football, you've got to spend the money. And Lisa Campos and Taylor Amy and everybody over there at UTSA, you don't have to spend Ohio State dollars. We know you don't have it, but you want to compete in the American, you've got to pony up the money. And as we get closer to that court ruling, I'm still surprised we're here on the 21st of January, and we still don't have an announced plan from UTSA.
Yeah, well, that's true. We don't, but they better get on it, and hopefully they're working on it, and we'll get something that is announced here pretty soon, because by all accounts, April, that lawsuit's going to be settled, and we're going to go to schools paying players. NILs, will they remain? Will they not? That remains to be seen. There will still be under the table dollars paid by big deep pocket boosters. That's going to happen. That will never go away. But at least that is a start to getting a handle on what we're dealing with here. Because college football is getting out of control, guys. And I know I seem to be in the minority. Everybody thinks it's great. College football is great. But the money that's being paid and the money that's being offered. Quinn Ewers turning down an $8 million deal to go to the NFL draft. I mean, just that kind of stuff is just it's ridiculous, is it not? I mean, there's got to be some kind of controls to what's happening in college football. And right now, to me, it just seems out of control. And just that, look, and if you want to credit Ohio State for being the best with their money or for coming up with the most money to buy the best team in college football this year, so be it. You can do that. But is that how we're going to do it now? Is that what we're going to do? Just whoever has the most money is going to win the title. Boom. Let's go.
Well, and again, when it comes more on the schools having to spend that money, because at some point donors are going to say, okay, I'm tired of writing these checks because there is no return on that real investment. It's so different than donating to a program and they're going to name a building after you or whatever the case is. These players, they get paid every year. You get your pictures, they're doing whatever, and then they're off. Or they could hit the portal. That's what they've got to get a handle on. But it is the new day and age in college football. And all in all, on the field, the product didn't suffer. The off-the-field stuff, most college fans don't like it. But it hasn't affected the on-field part of the game, although it's hard to root for some of these guys because we're not going to get them watch them be in your program for 2 or 3 or 4 years. You know, Jeremiah Smith, that kid looks like he would be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft this year. Well, he can't. He's a true freshman. He's got to be there at least 2 more seasons. It's insane. Brian Schottenheimer.
Yeah, true.
Brian Schottenheimer interviewing to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Let's talk about it. Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk. She joins us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, and you need your logo on any gear, make sure you get into Sammy's Embroidery and Printing down on San Pedro, especially if you need cold weather gear. Now, obviously, we had the blizzard today, but, more cold weather is on the way. So if you haven't gotten your jackets, your coats, your half-zips, your hoodies, your beanies, all your cold weather gear with your company logo on it, your group logo, get in and see Sam. The winter line is on display right now in his showroom. If you need caps made, Sam has over 25,000 caps and more than 75 color combinations on display in his showroom, just waiting for your logo. Over 700 uniform lines to choose from. Nobody has better prices, and Sam has all the big name brands like North Face, Eddie Bauer, Nike, Under Armour, Travis Matthew, Port Authority, to name a few. So call Sammy's Embroidery and Printing, 210-824-3900. 824-3900, or go by that massive showroom down on San Pedro, 1 mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's, or check the website, samsembroidery.com, for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
South Texas, get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. The one and only Rich Eisen is on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. With over 20 years of NFL experience, Rich Eisen brings breaking stories, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews with sports legends to your airwaves with unmatched wit, insight, and passion. Catch all the action every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show, only on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
On Super Sunday, you could be the crunch time hero. PorkRinds.com is bringing you a game-changing twist to your big day because it's also Pork Rind Appreciation Day. The crispy, crunchy, crave-worthy snack you love deserves its moment. PorkRinds.com is celebrating by giving you a chance to win tickets to the 2026 big game in Santa Clara. Enter at PorkRinds.com and become your own crunch time hero. This Super Sunday, make sure your snack game is on point. Celebrate Pork Rind Appreciation Day day. Get in on the action at porkrinds.com.
Hi, I'm Jason Thompson, and I've represented folks here in San Antonio injured by negligent drivers for more than 30 years. If you or a family member has been seriously injured, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson, at 210-900-0400. I've heard from many of my clients that after they were involved in a collision, they would get phone calls asking them to hire an attorney. This is highly irregular and probably illegal. Any attorney that is trying to contact you either directly or through a marketing company is not the kind of attorney that you should trust with such a serious matter. Quite frankly, it's creepy. If you call me, we will speak directly. If you hire me, it will be after you and I have talked. I will explain what I can do for you, and you can decide what you would like me to do next. The phone call and the consultation are free. Getting a smart result requires that you make smart decisions along the way. And that's my job, to help you and your family make smart decisions. And that's based on more than 30 years of experience. If you've been injured in an accident, call me, Jason Thompson, at 210-900-0400, or go to my website, alawyerforus.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson for Prize Picks, the best place to get real money on your sports action. Me and 10 million other people are playing every day, and now's the time to do it. Have you ever heard of this? You've got a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. You can run your season all game long, and now 1,000 times your cash. Heck, I've been a Prize Picks player for a long time. I've not seen this. 1,000 times your cash. It's playoff time. It's now or never. Don't miss out on the fun in the last few weeks of the football season. Prize Picks is the best place to play, up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get the action on the sports that you're playing, and now you can get up to 1,000 times your cash. Join over 10 million members. Play today. And if you sign up today, you get up to $50 instantly when you play. Use the code ALAMO. Sign up today for 1,000 times your cash. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Now at North Park Chevrolet, buy a new 2024 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab, posted at $34,999. Lease for $370 a month with zero down. Get 3.9% financing for 75 months on new 2025 Silverado Crew Cab Texas editions. And save $10,000 off MSRP on new 2025 Silverado Heavy Duty trucks. Together, let's drive at North Park Chevrolet. 10 minutes outside Loop 410 in Castroville or at npchevy.com. Must qualify for financing offers. Call 830-355-2107 for full price and offer details.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
It is the Blitz 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix, working from home after Blizzard at 2025. Even though everything was kind of melted by 9 a.m., we still decided to stay home. The Cowboys, though, they're working through the blizzard as well, although they might be bringing a storm on themselves as they apparently, according to reports, interviewing Brian Schottenheimer as we speak to be the head coach. Let's talk about it. Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk joining us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. He's now the betting favorite, Shotty is, to be the next head coach. Tell me what in his resume I'm missing that he could actually become the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, there's nothing about his resume, but, you know, we've talked about this. The 8 previous head coaches give you every point, every direction you want to take on who the next coach of the Cowboys is going to be. That narrows it down. They were never going to interview Ben Johnson. They were never probably going to interview Aaron Glenn, although there is some familiarity there. But just look at the 8 previous hires that Jerry Jones has made. All but 2 had previous head coaching experience, and those 2 had familiarity with Jerry. 4, in fact, had familiarity with Jerry. 2 of those were previous head coaches and had familiarity, and that's Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer. And the other 2 who had familiarity, who were not previous head coaches, were, of course, Dave Campo and Jason. The way he hires, he wants familiarity. That's it. That's all it is. And, by the way, he's not going to pay very much. So he also wants a guy that he can control and pay a little bit of money, not a lot of money, a little bit of money. And Schottenheimer fits absolutely all of that criteria. Everything that you could have, you laid this out before the day McCarthy was gone, let go. You lay it out. He fits all of that. There's nothing on his resume that says he should be. There was nothing on Dave Campo's resume that said he should be a head coach. Frankly, there was nothing on Jason Garrett's resume that said he should be a head coach. But here we are. I mean, this is what Jerry does. There should be no surprise about this. There should be no surprise if they didn't go out and try to get Ben Johnson. No surprise.
Wow, Shireen, I tell you what, it is crazy, and everything you just said is correct. I keep hearing these reports that Schotty would be okay with a Jason Witten coming on staff. Jerry really seems to have an obsession with getting Witten on that staff. Have you heard the same thing?
Yeah, there's no question about that. And again, that goes back to the familiarity part of it. You get Jason Witten on staff, and Jerry's just going to go, hey, if it doesn't work out with Schottenheimer, I'm just going to make Jason Witten my next head coach, in 2 years or whatever it is, however long the contract is. Because that's the other thing. There's something to watch is how long is this contract going to be? I think we all think it's going to be Schottenheimer, right? So how long is the contract going to be? Because we all know that the last 3 contracts that Jerry has done with the head coach, he has let those contracts run out. He has not extended them. He has either given the coach a new contract once in the case of Jason Garrett the first time, second time with Jason Garrett, and then with Mike McCarthy, the head coach left, whether it was on his own or with Jerry's decision. That's what happened. So watch the length of the contract here. If it's 2 or 3 years, I'm thinking he has a plan to put Jason Witten in sooner than later. If it's 4 years, then it's not going to be that soon. Then he really wants to groom Witten. But I do think Jason Witten is the next head coach after whoever they hire now, which we all think it's going to be Brian Schottenheimer.
It's going to be interesting. And when you think about Shireen, the idea of Schotty, and again, he checks all the Jerry boxes, even though Schotty's been an assistant for 20 years and never been a head coach. Nobody else has requested to talk to him this coaching cycle to interview for a head coaching job. But, next Monday, either Cliff Kingsbury or Kellen Moore is going to be available. Does this more of a sign of the interview with Kellen might not have gone well?
I don't know. I don't know. It's a great question. I thought Kellen was my favorite, who just, not that I wanted them to hire Kellen, but the favorite based on all the criteria we just talked about. I figured it would be Kellen Moore would be the next head coach of the Cowboys. He, to me, made more sense than Brian Schottenheimer made. But maybe it's maybe he didn't want Jason Witten on the staff. I don't know. That could have played a part as well. Maybe he said, I want to hire my own staff, and that would throw things sideways, because we all know Jerry likes to meddle on the staff. He's done it with, I think, the last 3 or 4 head coaches that he's hired. He's had somebody that he's made them keep or hire or whatever the case may be. So maybe that was part of it. I don't know, because I thought Kellen Moore would be the choice. I thought as recently as this morning, I thought that Kellen Moore was the favorite in the clubhouse. And maybe it's another thing. He just didn't want to wait a week. I don't know. Maybe he sees these coaches leaving, John Fossil leaving, some other guys that maybe they have interest in that have gone elsewhere now, and he's starting to panic and no Schottenheimer's available right this minute. So whatever it was, I think all signs are pointing to Brian Schottenheimer being the next head coach of the Cowboys within the next 24 hours.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was just going to ask, Shireen. It sounds like from some of the reports out of Dallas today that there could be an offer made today. that this could be wrapped up, and we're talking about head coach Brian Schottenheimer as early as tonight.
Yeah, I think it's all signs are pointing toward the next 24 hours that he'll be the next head coach of the Cowboys. They've complied now with the Rooney Rule, and so they've gotten that out of the way, and looks like it's moving that direction. So, whatever his reasons were to do it this way, I have not heard one Cowboy either on social media or talking to Cowboys fan. I have not heard one Cowboys fan who is excited by this. In fact, every Cowboys fan I've either seen post on social media or that I've talked to is disgruntled and angry if this is indeed the hire. But are they going to show that by not going to games, by not buying merchandise, by doing all those things? Because it's not going to matter if you just say you're angry at this coaching hire and then you continue to show loyalty by going to games and again, buying merchandise and, spending your money on his concessions and parking and everything else that goes with it. And that's not, showing that you're disgruntled. You're just saying you're disgruntled.
It is. I don't know. I was never more excited about the idea of Kellen Moore until I thought it could be Brian Schottenheimer. And, maybe Jerry comes with some great left turn to build some excitement about little Kellen Moore coming back, because I'm with you unless I don't know what Schotty could do. He had that one good year in Seattle. He's been at a lot of different places in the NFL. All accounts respected in the building, but what the hell has he been doing? He wasn't calling plays. I'm just trying to think, why does Jerry think he's the guy other than the reasons we've been talking about, which is, are those enough reasons to make him the head coach of America's team?
I don't know. We don't know behind the scenes what Dak Prescott has said either. We all know that Jerry listens to players and people he respects, and he certainly respects Dak Prescott and knows that Dak is going to have to work closely with the next head coach. And if it's somebody from outside the building other than Kellen Moore, which would be pretty much the same offense, then he's going to be learning a new offense. And maybe Dak went and pitched Brian Schottenheimer to Jerry. I don't know. That could have played a part too, something that we'll be interested in watching going forward and seeing what Dak said. And he might be very happy with this hire because the offense will stay the same. And he won't have to learn a new offense. And that probably will help him in the offseason because, coming off that injury and everything else, how limited is he going to be in the offseason in his attempt to learn a new offense? And, like Kyler Murray a season ago in the 2023 offseason, he was coming off that ACL and he wasn't able to learn the new offense in the entire offseason and didn't come back until mid-season. And, he was much better, obviously, this season, having had an off-season in that offense. So it's awfully hard when you don't have a full off-season in a new offense to just come out of the gate and be really good in that. So I'm telling you one thing to be like, okay, well, that makes sense. That would be one thing I would say that they might be looking at. But that's short term. Like, to me, you should be looking more long term. Like, how are we going to win? Like, we're probably not going to win in 2025. We know that. We've already said we're not spending a lot of money in free agency. So how can we get there within the next 2 to 3 years? Like, what do we have to do? And I don't know that Brian Schottenheimer is going to have that answer over the next 2 or 3 years. But maybe, again, if the plan is with Jason Witten to come in, and that's their plan in the next 2 to 3 years or 4 years, is to put Jason Witten in that role and start a rebuild. I don't know what their thinking is. They're hard to figure out, and they obviously don't have fans very excited by what they're doing.
All right, Shereen, I've got to ask you, let's say it is Brian Schottenheimer, and who then hires the coordinators? Is that Jerry going to hire the coordinators, or will Schottenheimer have a say-so in that?
Well, I would hope that it would be Brian Schottenheimer hiring his own coordinators, but we all know that Jerry pulls some strings sometimes, so it very well could be Jerry pulling some strings there to make some things happen. So, yeah, I'm not totally sold that it's going to be completely Brian Schottenheimer's decisions on those two hires, but it should be.
It really should be. I can't say that I'm stunned because it's Jerry, but to go from the talk of Deion Sanders and that excitement level Brian Schottenheimer. If that indeed is the hire, and now I'm thinking, man, just wait till Monday. Either Cliff or Kellen, somebody with a K, bring them in. Yeah. I've got zero excitement, and a part of it is the unknown. It will be very interesting, I think, for Jerry to try to sell this on why he is the right guy for the job.
Yeah, and he has a big sales job to do, and maybe he does that. I mean, we all know that's the best thing. And number one, he's a great businessman. Number two, he's a great salesman. So maybe he can sell this, and you go, okay, well, that makes sense. I don't know. Like, I just don't see it right now that to me that it's going to be applauded and just seen as a great hire. I don't think anyone's going to see this as a real great hire if this is how it works out. But maybe Jerry spends it so it looks pretty good. I don't know. And maybe some of the assistant coaches that they hire are going to be good names that people are excited by, the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator. Who's going to call the plays? That's the other thing. I mean, it's not like Schottenheimer called the plays here. He didn't. So, is he going to call the plays, or is he going to actually hire a coordinator to call the plays? So that's the other question that we obviously have. So, yeah, a lot of things in the works and a lot of questions, and there will be a lot of questions to Jerry Jones when he talks probably later this week. I would expect that they're going to have a press conference if this is indeed the choice.
All right, Shereen, I've got to ask you a quick question about something else. This whole Kansas City thing with the officials that everybody's complaining about. Obviously, Texan fans were not happy. What is your take on this? I know LeBron James in the NBA will get some favorable calls. Is Patrick Mahomes that in the NFL?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that. When you look at the 5 roughing the passer calls that he's gotten, and their opponents have gotten 0 since he's been in the playoffs, I think speaks to that a little bit. The flopping that he tries to do, and he tries to entice some of these things, and he's running out of bounds late, and he's above this. Like, I'm really disappointed in Patrick Mahomes, because what a great person and a great player that he is, to try to do some of this stuff. The one on the sideline was just awful where he flopped, just awful. There's no need for Patrick Mahomes to pull that kind of crap. There's not. And it just makes him look bad. So I hope, and I hope somebody asked this, that the NFL has talked to him this week about this and is going to put a stop to it, because this cannot continue. And it does. The games aren't rigged. There's nothing rigged about this. They missed 2 calls. The first one you can understand, the Will Anderson one, he just didn't see it. And officials are told to throw the flag on that. If it looks like roughing, throw the flag. Err on the side of throwing the flag. They did that. I can understand that. The other one was just awful. Just an awful, awful call. So, just the appearances of what we're seeing are not good for the NFL. It's not rigged, but the appearances aren't good, and they need to fix it. And Patrick Mahomes is part of the problem, so they need to talk to him and say, "We're going to start flagging you. If you flop like you did, we're going to call unsportsmanlike conduct on you." It's that simple. Like, they've got to do something to stop this flopping and the sliding late and all that. Trevor Lawrence didn't slide late on the Aziz hit on Trevor Lawrence. I didn't think he slid late, but a lot of these quarterbacks, and Patrick is one of the biggest guys who does this, is the sliding late part, and he just cannot keep sliding late and faking going out of bounds and all the things that he does. They might as well, frankly, have lit him up and gotten their money's worth, because they were going to get the penalty anyway there. You
almost wonder if a coach tells his defense, dude, you're going to get the 15 yards, make it count, and maybe that will stop. A little police ourselves. We know we're going to get the penalty either way, because, part of me, Patrick is playing within the rules. He's using the rules to his advantage. And until they even things out with flags, he's going to continue to do that. Some might want to, some should credit Patrick for playing within the rules to the letter of the law and taking full advantage of it.
Well, and there's one easy way to fix this, and I'm guessing they will fix some of this in the offseason, and that's the replay assist. Just make those things reviewable. They easily could have, it would have taken 2 seconds. Hey, you missed that one. Pick that flag up. That didn't happen. And they would have picked both those flags up, and people would have been happy. They did it in the Texas game, the Texas-Georgia game. That it wasn't the right way they should have done it. but after the bottle throwing and all that, they had time to look at it. We all know they called down and said, hey, you blew that call. That was a bad call. But these can be done with replay assist legally, if they make it legal, and done very quickly, which is what they should do. So it's an easy fix. They just have to do it in the offseason, and I think they will.
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of that Sky Judge or whatever they're going to officially call it. Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk. When we talk next Tuesday, maybe we'll have a new head coach to complain about. Talk about. We'll talk to you then. Absolutely. Shireen Williams. Appreciate it. Follow her on Twitter at NFL Shireen. Read her at Pro Football Talk. Shireen Williams and all our guests on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com. Some breaking news for the Baseball Hall of Fame. Billy the Kid, Billy Wagner. He is a Hall of Famer. He gets in along with Ichiro and CeCe Sabathia. We'll talk about it coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Have you avoided getting your T levels checked? Why continue to live with low energy or low libido potentially caused by low testosterone? Go get checked. Make that part of your New Year's resolution. We're still in January. They count. I recommend you get into Synergenics Testosterone and Weight Loss because of their personalized TRT. It goes beyond standard treatments. Not all TRT is the same. At Synergenics, you'll get a personally optimized TRT treatment plan from providers who specialize in testosterone therapy. Take that first step by booking that initial appointment at synergenicshealth.com. And Synergenics Testosterone and Weight Loss offers weight loss management with affordable prescription GLP-1 plans. Current patients, Synergenics is offering a $150 referral credit when you refer a new patient. So don't be afraid to talk to your friends about it and go. You're going to feel better. Testosterone levels start to decline in our 30s. So if you're feeling a loss of energy and drive, it could be low T. Get checked at Synergenics Testosterone and Weight Loss. Don't put it off. Book that first appointment now at synergenicshealth.com. SYNERGENX health.com for Synergenics Testosterone and Weight Loss.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Hump day on the Huddle. We'll take a look at the coaching carousel, see who's coming up next, who's going to be the head man in Dallas, and recapping a big night of college hoops. All that and plenty more. Morning Huddle starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Rock's Discount Vitamins and More wants to thank God and San Antonio for making Rock's the king of supplements. Are you losing weight, building muscle, or just getting healthy? Rock's has you covered. Weight loss and muscle building packages starting at just $75. Plus, get a free in-body scan in 15 seconds with the In-Body 270 analysis. Start tracking your results today. The pros at Rock's know their products, how they work, and what's best for your health and fitness goals. Call 210-342-7625 or visit rocksdiscountvitamins.com.
Shop can't miss deals going on now during Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. For a limited time, get a free adjustable stand when you buy a DeWalt 12-inch miter saw. That's a $229 value. Plus, save $680 on a Midea 4-piece kitchen appliance suite. Now just $17.96. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Valid 1/13 through 1/24. Cannot be combined with additional discounts while supplies last. See store or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby. Get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay,
Things people love.
You know the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch any big game with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. Football, basketball, all the fights. And when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch the game. Just down from the big blind, the Roo Pub, right next to the Angry Elephant, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
George gets justice. No amount of money can make up for a life-changing injury. I'm George Salinas, and at George Salinas Injury Lawyers, our team of attorneys will fight to get you the maximum compensation because we prepare and we care. So if you've been injured in an accident, get George. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com.
George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1, a San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix on this work-from-home blizzard Wednesday that we all survived today.
Thank goodness for that, huh? Our smart thinking and proper planning, Jason, just saved us. It saved us.
Yeah, I mean, gas. It looks nice outside, but I know it's bitterly cold out there.
Cold.
Bitterly cold. Although I'm happy today. Billy Wagner gets into the Hall of Fame. It was his 10th and final year of eligibility, and one of the great closers. He gets it done. He gets in. And you look at Ichiro, one shy of a unanimous election. CeCe Sabathia also going to Cooperstown. CeCe and Ichiro first ballot guys, and then Billy Wagner on the last opportunity for getting him into the Hall of Fame. He is a part of the Hall of Fame class of 2025.
And he deserves to be in there. Billy Wagner was something special. There's no question about that. All 3 of those guys, CeCe Sabathia, another one to get in there, all 3 well-deserved. And so they got it right this time. Most of the time they do, but they certainly got it right this time.
Well, and honestly, I'm a little surprised it took Billy Wagner up until the final year of eligibility. And the Baseball Hall of Fame, all these Hall of Fames, I mean, there are so many that you think should be, but because they limit your years of eligibility, that's a way to keep the list from being long. Because there's times where, like the NFL can do up to 5, and they typically have 5. Baseball doesn't do it that way. I'm thrilled that Billy Wagner is a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely. I'm thrilled too. Not an Astros fan by any stretch, but I was a Billy Wagner fan. It's interesting when you get special players like that, and it takes them a while. But I know you when you go through the San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame and Shereen Williams with the NFL Hall of Fame. And it's so difficult sometimes to make choices depending on who's up and who's eligible. And that's how some guys slip through the cracks. This time, Billy Wagner got in, and I'm happy for him.
As somebody that is a part of the San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame selection, which is very different than like being on the All-Star Game selections, because there's people, and again, some of it's voting and all the other stuff, and there's some that you go, how are they not already in? And it's a process. There's so much that goes into it. But for the baseball writers, and how is Ichiro not a unanimous first team guy? All right. I mean, who was the guy that did not vote for Ichiro to get in for him to not be a unanimous Hall of Fame selection? Right. I mean, we're talking about Ichiro. I'll never forget. Young in my broadcasting career, I was working at KG&B Radio in New Braunfels, and Lance Berkman was selected to his first All-Star game with the Astros, and that game was in Seattle. My press credential and like the program and all that stuff was all Ichiro, because Ichiro was new to the league. It was 2001. And, so we're there, Billy Wagner and spending time with him and Berkman. It was just such an incredible time. And to see both of them going in on the Hall of Fame class, for me, it's like, man, that was pretty cool, because I remember when. But you knew Ichiro was going to be a Hall of Famer just when he showed up. He was going to have one of those kind of careers.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm just happy you remember Berkman as an Astro, because he really made his bones with the St. Louis Cardinals. And it was a much better player when he went to St. Louis than he was with the Houston Astros. So I'm happy
really
that you have that
but he
memory.
got a ring there. Yeah.
I'm happy that you have your memories, Jason. That's good. But I'll remember the kid from New Braunfels as a St. Louis Cardinal, and very happy about it.
I'm glad you've got clouded memories. It's all good. It is time for our injury update by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine, online at TSAOG.com. Let's welcome on the Buyers Barricades guest line, Dr. David Espinosa. Doc, I trust you survived the blizzard-like conditions we went through today here in San Antonio?
Barely. I think the half inch of dusted snow really put a spare in us today. But,
man, you've got a whole half inch. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Do you have to sweep up the porch to get there to the half inch?
Exactly. Enough to make like an 8-inch snowman for the kids.
There you go. I
Nice.
want to start with a very interesting DeShaun Watson story. I saw something come across earlier that the Cleveland Browns could void DeShaun Watson's contract guarantees if they can prove he engaged in prohibited activities by not following rehab protocols. And part of it is DeShaun Watson posted a video of him on TikTok not wearing a boot after the surgery. Now, what we don't know, was he required to wear a boot as a part of those protocols? In your experience with a player after having Achilles surgery, should they be in a boot? Is this internet people trying to figure out something, or could the Browns actually have a case if Watson wasn't wearing that boot and then, re-aggravated that injury and had to have another surgery?
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely after that type of surgery, they're looking to repair that distal Achilles tendon and get it to reattach down on the back part of the heel bone. And so after that surgery, you're non-weight bearing for a little while. Non-weight, you're not putting any type of weight on that foot and ankle, and you're also immobilized. And some surgeons will put them into a cast. Others, there's enough trust to put into a boot. And so it really kind of boils down to timing, because eventually during the rehab protocol, they're going to want to start kind of weaning away from the boots and the immobilization to get that tendon to respond to some tensile force. But you got to be immobilized for some period of time. The big question will be, when was that timing up? And if he was kind of caught without it, then that's not a good picture for him.
Well, I think that's going to be the issue then, right, Doc? I mean, they're going to have to determine exactly when that timing was, how long after the surgery, and was he required? And I think that's going to be, lawyers, and they're going to make a lot of money, it seems like, because the Cleveland Browns are trying to do anything they can to get out of this DeShaun Watson contract.
Absolutely. So they're going to be, and that's, I guess, the tough thing with social media and TikTok. I don't know if anybody bought that thing by now, but either way, everything is time dated, stamped, and sealed, and so it's They should be able to figure it out as far as timing of it all, just depending on the surgeon and rehab protocols and all that.
Dr. David Espinosa joining us here on the Blitz for our injury update. You know, in the divisional round of the playoffs, we saw Jalen Hurts, who really hasn't played great since coming back from the concussion, but he got tackled and twisted around. It looked like his leg got stuck underneath a player when he was getting stacked, and he left the game for a little while, but he was able to come back. But it was one of those where all of us were going, uh-oh. When it bends that way, you know, that he could have tore all kinds of different things in there. Did he just get lucky, or could he have some issues with that ankle and knee in this week's NFC Championship game?
Well, I would say it's either be both. Right, so a little bit of luck, and he probably does have some minor damage in the ligaments, just from, again, the way that knee and ankle kind of twisted. But as long as it's not something that would limit him as far as his function, being able to kind of cut, pivot, twist, or push off of that leg with throwing, or with trying to make a handoff, a stretch play, or whatever it is. And so he's probably going to be a little hobbled, but he's lucky that it's not worse, and the team's lucky it's not worse that would put him out.
Well, Doc, when the injury happened, he came back, he was noticeably limping, and it looked like it limited his mobility to a certain extent. Is that an injury or something that happens? Would it get worse as you go through the week? I mean, I guess what I'm asking is he was playing on, adrenaline then when he got hurt. A couple of days after that, could it be feeling a lot worse?
Exactly. Especially game day, as you're playing, that adrenaline really kicks in, and players are they're able to tolerate quite a bit more. And you're going to feel it the next day for sure. And I will say there's a difference between playing hurt and playing injured. You don't play injured, but a lot of them, I'd say the majority of the teams now are at this long of a lengthy season. They're all playing with some kind of hurt. By this point, with the bumps and bruises that have come along the way, and so it's just whether or not they can perform to the level that they need to kind of gut it out, if you will. But that's what they have the great medical staffs with them to make sure that they're not going to do something that's detrimental to themselves over the long term. But absolutely, they're going to feel it the next day.
And finally, Doc, Riley Minix. One N instead
Jason's
of two.
son.
No relation. He hasn't earned that second N yet. Shoulder surgery, out for the year because of a torn left labrum. What kind of rehab is he looking at? Obviously, he's going to miss this season, but would this affect his chance of earning that second N next year?
Well, the second end should still be in line, so we're all pulling for him on that front. But that labrum, there is an extension of cartilage inside that shoulder, and so unfortunately, right after the surgery, he will be immobilized for a period of time. It's usually about 6 weeks where they're in a sling, and then during that time, they're starting to do some gentle passive range of motion type of things. But recovery time can vary depending on the surgeon, but usually ranges anywhere from 3 to 6 months before they're starting to kind of get back into the normal swing of things as far as activity and sport-related activity. But he'll definitely be working core, lower body during that time frame and kind of keep that up to speed. But yeah, it's gonna be a bit, and then they'll slowly incorporate some rotator cuff and shoulder stabilization, strengthening exercises along the way. So it's gonna be a bit of a road for him, but he should be good for next year for sure.
Good stuff. Dr. David Espinosa, appreciate you jumping on with our injury update, powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine, again online at TSAOG.com. Stay warm tonight, Doc.
Absolutely. All is well. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Dr. David Espinosa on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com. Ryan Engel, man, we survived the blizzard of 2025. We've got that long commute to the living room.
I got at least an hour's worth of work putting away all this equipment, Jason. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do here. It's going to take forever for this thing.
Dude, I'll have all this stuff packed away and put up before extra innings with pledge gets started in 5 minutes.
Absolutely. I got to ask you one question before we go. How do you earn the extra in?
You make it onto the NBA roster, and then I call the guy that stitches names on the jersey and hope for one day they misspell it so I can actually see it.
All right. I'm just curious how somebody would go about earning an in.
I have no idea. Go eat, man. Pledge is next here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Taking you home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6. KTFM Floresville. And everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Okay, I have to